Reverence! The random dice have blessed you with the perfect person to do the recap for last session.
Right. So, last session, the group was going to go meet Rose at a warehouse where Rev was being held captive, question mark? Negotiations broke down. There was combat. The group managed to emerge victorious, but Rose and Rev had absconded using her magics. They made their way into the Pearl District, where they not Misty Step, Dimension Doored into a noble's home. She charmed the guards. We went through a series of winding paths down underground, and eventually found a undead fish guarding two of the vampires' coffins. After subduing the vampires and destroying the coffins, Rose decided that she was going to go ahead and take her leave, and Rev decided that that's unacceptable as we did not fulfill our agreement. Combat was had. Surprise guest Linnell managed to knock out Rose with Angel's Bane, and Rev then, after arrest, escaped into well, he's headed toward the Tandem Imperium right now, I believe.
Is there anything someone would like to add?
Did you mention the fight against the vampires?
Yes. Negotiations broke down.
I for a moment there, I thought this was entirely. It's like, this is just Rev time.
I'd like to add vampires.
Vampires?
Yes.
Vampires are, in fact, a correct addition.
We should also add quotation marks around the word negotiations.
Listen, the entire first sentence of that recap should just be in quotation marks.
Peace was never an option.
Well then, before we figure out exactly what reference does, let's jump back to the rest of the party. You headed east out of the gate. You have successfully gotten back into the wilderness. You see farmland in front of you in every direction. It's night, but it's not super late. To use basic our time, it'd be like 7 or 8 p.m. You're exhausted, wounded, and lacking many spell slots. What would the party like to do?
Presumably, it's probably not kosher with city guard to set up a tent right outside the walls. Would that be?
They might go, "What are you doing?" Yes.
So assuming we want some privacy, I suppose we would go behind a tree clearing or something at the very least.
That's a question. Camp. A lot of cities, like sort of in this era, and obviously this isn't like 100% historic game, would have like lean-tos and sort of shoddily built houses using the city wall as a wall. There's sort of like a little town outside. Is that the case in Delran? I don't remember.
The interior is, yes. The exterior, that is not true. The East Gate especially, when you look around, you see a lot of agriculture. There are farmlands all about that are not protected by the walls itself.
Okay. So they keep it clear on purpose?
Yes.
So yeah, so it's just mostly farmland. Are there any copses?
I will say yes.
I guess we head for a copse.
Once we find the spot, Leo, sort of in a vampire anxiety mode, would start ritually casting the dome because he doesn't have spell slots to do it more quickly.
As Leo begins to trace a familiar circle around the group, is there anything that they'd like to plan or think about as they're figuring things out? As stated before, many of you are still fairly badly wounded, and I'm aware of the spell slot situation in general.
Has it been an hour?
Yes, but it was a traveling hour, not a short rest hour.
Okay, well, I was just more wanting to see if my spear was gone.
Yes, your spear has been gone.
I propose a short rest.
Do you
I-
intend to just huddle up in the dome and lick your wounds?
I think that sounds good.
Yeah, like short rest before watches. Short rest before the long rest.
Okay. As you begin to huddle up in the dome, start licking your wounds, band yourselves up, we'll cut back to Reverence. Hey, Reverence.
Hello.
You went invisible.
Yes.
You said you headed straight to the Tandem Imperium?
Yes.
You arrive. The door itself is closed. You can tell that people are still inside, but beyond that, it doesn't seem crowded, and you don't see Mira outside or Staluna either.
Is it currently like open for business or like? Is it,
No.
I guess Rev will knock then.
You knock a few times. The door opens just to peek for a second, and you see a yellow eye stare directly at you. And you don't have to roll anything as the door opens completely, and you see a familiar-looking woman who has yellow eyes with black hair, just kind of usher you inside. Wait, hold on. You're invisible. She does not
Hi.
do that. Cannot see you. She looks around carefully and does not see anything.
Rev will just clear his throat. It's Reverence.
Oh, that makes far more sense. Right, you must. She just opens the door.
Thank you. And Rev will go inside with his new captive.
She closes the door behind. So, where's the rest of your outcasts?
They're not here.
That is why I asked, yes?
Then I don't know. Maybe the guild house?
Isn't that several days away?
Is Isel around? Do you know if she can send messages? I assume she can.
Well,
Or-
yes, no, she can't, but Crow is downstairs. I'll simply go fetch her. A moment goes by, and the one you're more used to dealing with just kind of walks up the stairs. Unlike Rhea, who was talking to nothing, you see her mumble a spell and then stare at you. Why are you carrying? I don't care. Hello, where's the rest of them?
I don't know. Would you mind maybe sending word to one of them for me and asking?
Certainly. And the woman in your arms?
It's a long story, but she's a vampire that hates vampires.
Do you
I think.
need to use our basement?
I do, yes, actually.
Would you like chains, gags?
Oh, yes, please.
Sure. We should be secure. You can drop the spell.
Rev does so.
And kind of usher you towards the basement. A bit more time passes, and as she is gathering things before doing any sendings, another person just appears into the basement for a second, the ethereal dropping off as the red skin and leathery wings appear. Oh, that was fun! And a moment later, she casts either a glamour illusion or shapeshifts. It's hard to tell which, as her skin turns into a normal pale skin and her horns fade in and her wings seem to vanish from sight. So, do you want to do the interrogation alone, or?
Do you mean as opposed to with the group present?
Well, I was talking about, us, the lovely people who helped you get everything.
These are your facilities. If you would prefer to have someone down here, that's fine. Otherwise, I wouldn't
Okay,
mind
I'd
handling
love
her
to.
alone.
And Linnell, as she's clapping excitedly halfway through your sentence, Crow just kind of pushes her to the side. I'll contact them and wait here. If there's any information, I'll let people know. As Linnell is quickly ushered out of the room.
Nods.
It's Leo's spell. Do you want to do the communication?
Sure.
She reaches down, grabs what appears to be a small crystal, and hums with her energy, and then begins to vibrate. And as she does so, she just kind of pushes it towards your face and lets you talk. Leo, as you are huddled in the dome, your sword begins to shake wildly and sound begins to come out. Go ahead, reference.
Hello, everyone. Rose and I are at the Tandem Imperium. Where are you?
I know this. I know it's a 12-second spell, but Leo sort of raises an eyebrow in the split second where Rev is talking and sort of directs his eyes to kind of like swapping between Navali and Six and holds his sword out.
Does
So
Navali
very
look
lim-
like she's going to speak?
Very limited time. Who speaks?
I'm sorry. Are we reaching out to Rev?
You're
Rev reached out to
responding Rev.
you.
Oh. I can speak. Rev, we are outside the city. We were worried that we were
Eastgate.
going to Eastgate. Thank you. We were worried that something
Halfway
was going to
through,
happen
you can
if
see the sword start shaking.
we were worried something might have happened if we did not leave right away.
One moment. Say, Leo, will he? Have we finished a short rest?
No.
Oh, well, then Leo can't do anything. He says, they probably heard Eastgate. That's as far as the message went.
Oh,
But she's alive.
that's good.
Dude, I guess I've never received a message from my own spell before. I don't know that this version of sending that you can recognize who cast it without them speaking, but he would probably be able to be like, "Oh, I taught Crow this spell."
I do not believe we said it requires to know the caster. It's just the voices come through.
Yeah, but he,
but
but
you know
Crow's the
who
only
knows
other
this
person
spell.
who knows the spell. Yeah, so Leo just sort of says to the group, like, "He must be with Crow. She must have opened the channel."
Well, then we can assume it is safe, no?
I think so. We might be able to go back to the Tandem Imperium if perhaps maybe we still rest a little bit though.
A short rest would help me to bring up my detecting creature spell. Should we want to make sure we're dodging any more of those folks on our way there?
Well, Rev knows where we are, so I feel there is no rush to get to him.
Just for clarification, you will have no issues in short resting if that is what you wish to do. But from the East Gate back to the residential area and to the Tandem Imperium, not residential, pleasure district, to get to the Tandem Imperium will take about 2 hours of travel. Just so you're aware.
Yeah. Okay, well,
That'd be fine.
couldn't locate creature that whole time, but still.
Kirito sort of stands as, I will keep watch. I have barely been touched. And just steps out the dome and starts Patrolling.
Sounds good.
He's going to do so stealthily, though.
Go ahead and roll me a stealth and perception, and we'll cut back to reference in just a moment. Now, after Carzo gets kidnapped again.
No. Actually, she took a second to load. Okay, is it regular roll? It is.
Stealth and perception.
Stealth. Wow.
Pretty bad roll,
Oh.
actually.
Yeah, for Carito. Oh,
Perception's pretty good. At the very least, you feel as if there are things that have noticed your presence, so much as you weren't quite trying to hide it and just trying to get to a safe, semi-hidden location as quickly as possible and create a barrier there. There's been a couple of eyes that went across the wall that noticed this strange menagerie do this. There's been a couple of animals outside that looked in your direction, then they started to ignore you. You're positive that if someone wanted to know where you are, they knew where you are. But nothing's coming at you. There's no shadows trying to grab you, no eyes that suddenly appear and try to charm you away. But you're quite positive you're not hidden. And with that realization, Karuto, we'll cut back to Reverence as they cut off around Eastgate. Crow taking a deep breath. Why are they at the East Gate?
Vampires, I assume.
Whatever. She just starts dropping chains in front of you. About half of these are supposed to be used for kinks, but they'll work.
Right. Yeah, that'll be fine. I think we've done this before here once, didn't we?
Yeah, the half orc.
Right.
Or was he full blooded? It's always hard to tell.
In either case, thank you for your assistance.
Not an issue, unless it becomes one. She starts just tying Rose up.
Rebel assistant any way he can.
Go ahead and roll sleight of hand. It's not terrible. The chains lock in nicely, and one thing you learn very quickly is, unlike the other people who you have tied up down here, Rose's body is very slim. This means you have to be much tighter than you would with the others. Additionally, you quickly realize that you did a number to her body, but no injury is there anymore. Her dress torn in many places where you cut her and semi falling apart and definitely needs someone to sew it back together. But whenever you see flesh beneath it, the wound is gone.
Interesting.
Just for confirmation, tied her hands, legs, and gagged her.
And fingers.
Makes sense. Well, Reverence, you're going to be waiting here for a few hours, either until she wakes up or until your companions arrive. What do you do to kill time?
I start with a short rest.
Everybody, you get a short rest.
Yeah.
You may spend hit dice if you'd like.
I'm going to drag characters out and refresh my memory on their hit points.
I don't actually remember. I think I was at half-ish in my... Oh, yes. I see what you're doing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I'm going to roll half my hit dice and assume that is going to heal me to full because I don't remember. And my sheet is not on roll 20.
I can't view Primilia's current health, but I remember she was rather low.
Just tell you, she had single-digit HP. Sorry, I'm going to go look at the battle map, and I can just tell you. Millie had 10 HP. Leo had 11 HP.
Oh boy. Okay, well, for the record, Leo is still hurt, but he is looking a lot better.
Same with Navali.
VD was with us as well. She.
Beatty was with you. She's basically unharmed.
Okay.
I'm lying. She was actually very hurt.
Oops.
Beatty had 16 health, for reference.
Cool.
She took the fireballs too. That makes sense.
And Leo uses Arcane Recovery to get spell slots. Wow. Hopefully we don't have to fight tonight anyway.
So I'm thinking vampires immediately attack you.
No.
Sag.
I mean, no, I'm out of How am I out of that?
Out of what?
Did I use 2 level 3s? I only remember using Crusader's Mantle once.
I believe you did also do the Divine Smite on the big vampire at the end.
I don't know. I don't think I did a level 3 though. Or maybe I did. Okay, never mind. I don't have my big thing to help us against vampires, sadly.
I've actually double checked and confirmed. Your level 3 was a Blinding Smite.
What? I used Blinding Smite?
You did on the big guy.
Interesting.
The very end. Regardless, you lick your wounds, you wrap them up, you feel mostly recovered. I assume you start heading back into town. Is there any spells or preparation or wonders that you do as you do so?
Is that was my understanding, is that we'll probably head to the Tandem Imperium.
Yeah, 6 would advocate for it too.
Mm-hmm.
You begin the journey back in. It's not too bad, but there is a bit of walking that you must do. And before we discuss if anything happens to the party on the way back, reference. You short rest. Is there anything to do for the second hour?
I actually don't think so. He might write a little bit or something while he's down there, but he's not going to leave where Rose is at.
Great. You see your eyes flutter open in the second hour, and very quickly you can see it look around, try to figure things out, shake the chains, and that is the first 10 seconds, and then just staring at you.
Okay, so she is awake and conscious now?
Yes. He was not unconscious for very long.
Hello, Rose.
Mm.
Old business first. You said you would tell me everything. That was our previous agreement for my silence and cooperation. And as guild leader of Shield of the Outcast, I am going to have to request that you make good on your end of this. As this is part of our previous agreement, this is at least non-negotiable. And I'll kind of lean in and kind of smile a little bit and say, Do you understand? Kind of wait for her reaction.
Just for clarification, Crow is nearby. She's reading a book off to the side and is doing nothing to help you. She just eyes you for a moment and doesn't care. You see Rose roll her eyes.
I'll smile a little wider. Very good. That brings us to new business then. While your methods leave much to be desired, our goals were aligned. And I believe they still are. I do not know what your intentions were upon leaving me, or where you intended to go, but striking this blow to the vampires controlling the city was only the beginning. They will retaliate, and they will retaliate in force. Which is why, at least for my part, I do not see cause to part ways yet. You are powerful, Rose. We did something together that we can yet capitalize upon, seizing the advantage from those who tried to fuck with you. Working with you has proven two things to me. The first is that I truly believe you managed to maintain your sense of self. Whatever these vampires and the Five apparently have tried to do to you has been unsuccessful. Moreover, you had opportunities to harm our allies while we were in the desert, and at least insofar as I know, you did not. He's going to kind of pause and check her demeanor again.
Roll insight. She's watching you very carefully. I'm not going to give too much information for obvious reasons, but I will state you've recognized that kind of look. That is not the look of someone who's worried. That's the look of someone who's trying to read you, someone trying to exploit you, someone trying to figure you out.
Then Rev will continue. The second thing is that we, or perhaps it's better to say that I, have not been fair to you. That is something that I would like to rectify, if you will allow me to. You are a member of Shield of the Outcast, and deserve to be treated as such. For whatever it may be worth, you truly do have my sincere apologies for how I have treated you. And he will reach out and undo her gag.
As you do, you can see her very carefully watching your hands as they do so, as if trying to figure out if you're about to do anything else. But after you unclasp it and remove it from her mouth, she watches you a bit longer. Her eye kind of flutters over towards Crow on the side. Do you trust her?
I do.
I see. I have terms.
Name your terms.
I request to be fed when I am hungry.
Could you elaborate on fed?
I will require sustenance in the form of blood. I do not enjoy hunting for it.
I suppose that can be arranged as long as it's not enough to kill or
Oh, no,
harm.
no, of course not. Well, harm, perhaps, but not permanently.
What other terms?
I would like an apology from the rest of them as well.
Okay. Anything else?
Roll insight. You're starting to realize the look you saw before was very similar to, for example, what Rosalind does, of trying to bear your truths naked. She is far less skilled at it. And more importantly, you're starting to notice as you said anything else that she didn't have an answer until you said anything else. As well, I would like some compensation for that initial lie. It was 100 gold, I'm well aware.
Very well. So, are we in agreement then? Will you continue to work with Shield of the Outcast?
You wish to burn it all down, destroy them all, and dance upon their graves, something to that degree?
Rev grins widely. Something to that degree, yes.
Very well. I share no love for them. Besides, that's not unlike what I was supposed to do anyway.
Very well. He'll hold out his hand to shake.
Her chains shake.
Oh, that's right. He'll start undoing her chains.
You will wait patiently for that. You do notice Crow is carefully eyeing you as it is the kind of eye of, are you sure about this? But she's saying nothing. A moment passes. As you finish the last change, she will shake your hand. So I must ask, where are the rest of them?
They fled. I think
Oh,
perhaps
that's wise.
Revel shrug.
So you're aware that they intend to retaliate as soon as they figure out what has happened?
I imagine so.
You're aware that everyone you know and love is in danger then?
Yes.
Oh, how lovely. Does this mean you'll protect me from the big bad vampires when they come to kill me?
Of course. You're a valuable ally.
I am, and I'm hungry.
Rev will kind of give her like a he was kind of surprised by that little taken aback look, but then he'll like roll up his sleeve and offer his arm.
Good enough. And within a split second, you feel her arm go onto your arm and teeth sink into you. You expect pain. There isn't any. Just numbness. How many hit dice do you have left?
7.
Could you roll 3 of them?
Oh, okay.
Those are really good rolls. You can feel it coming out of your body, but it's painless. It feels like a pulsing. And a moment passes more. You feel her tongue go across the open wound, then her start to cough up your fur as if you look even slightly where she just bit, it seems to be closing up. There's almost no wound after a few seconds. Fur is still the worst. Still, good enough.
Rev is kind of watching her because if I understand correctly, through the nature of his pact, he has vampire blood inside of him, right? So if she drinks, can she drink that? It seems like she's able to.
She had no issues.
Interesting. All good?
Yes, I'm no longer parched. Thank you very much. So where are we going to wait for the others? Where are we?
We're at the Tandem Imperium.
Where?
Right. There's a bar upstairs, why don't we wait there?
Oh, excellent. I don't think I can drink that, but that should still be fun to just surprise them with.
Bro, is that alright?
That's fine. Are you certain that she's no threat?
Rev will look at Rose.
She's just smiling innocently.
I wouldn't say no threat, but she will work with us.
I will tell everyone to keep their mouths shut, and if you require something, just knock on the basement door.
Appreciated. And Crow, thank you very much. If you need anything in return, just let me know.
Well, promise of your protection if we're about to be in danger would be fantastic.
Goes without saying.
If something else comes up, I'll let you know.
Rev nods.
I assume you head up to the bar.
Yes.
You wait there for a bit longer. Rest of the party. Nothing attacked you on the way back.
Yay.
You arrive. You notice the door itself seems they clearly are closed for the day, which is unusual for the evenings, as you're aware. But most likely they did so knowing that they'd be working with you today. The door is closed. You can certainly tell, though, there's still movement inside. Who does the lovely job of knocking? Or do you just open the door?
I mean, I assume it's polite to knock.
Navali will knock.
Reverence, you hear knocking at the door. Also, you can feel Navali outside.
If no one's available, I'll go get it.
They went to the basement, as they said.
Oh, that's right. Yes, Rev will go get the door.
Reverence opens the door for the party. You see him again, and just behind him, you see a familiar blonde woman just waving at the rest of you. Not bound, not gagged, seemingly completely content in her position.
Everyone,
It's good to see you are safe, Rev.
likewise.
Navali looks at Rose. And you know that she is...
A vampire, yes.
Okay.
Why don't you all come inside? Let's talk.
We fled to the east gate. I don't think we were followed, but people did see us there.
Understood. We will have to maybe meet quickly and then move quickly.
Oh, if they wanted to kill these people, they're going to kill them whether they're here or not.
That's not a comfort. Let's all get inside.
We do that?
You do so. You have no issues in getting to the place. It's familiar. You see bar tables, chairs, no issues whatsoever in any of this. You do not see the Tandem Imperium, though. Both Rose and Rev don't seem worried about this.
As Crow didn't come back up.
Nope. Stay in the basement.
And Leo finds whatever table we're sitting at and just sits down anxiously, kind of like pensive, waiting for bad news.
So, your guild leader made a deal with me. Would you like to inform them?
Okay, yes, Rose is going to continue to work with us. We had some initial misunderstandings, but we have talked things through and made an agreement. And as part of, well, not as part of that agreement, Rose is a member of Shield of the Outcast. I think she deserves an apology for how we've treated her in the past.
This is kind of a player question because I don't want Leo to be the asshole with me as a player forgetting something. But she kind of blackmailed us for us to leave Familia's home, and then we offered her a job so that we could help her. So, Leo, like, am I forgetting something that we?
You straight up
explicitly done
lied to her, did not warn her about any of the dangers here, and have made fun of her every single time she has been seen. Additionally, you have attempted to manipulate the fact she finds you attractive and she has noticed.
Carito looks like he's swallowed something sour, but is contemplating for a moment or two. And then heaves a sigh and says, Rose, I apologize for my behavior. You are a fellow member of the guild and should be treated thus.
Oh, thank you. That's all I really want. Also, just for reference, if you're going to make it sound like it costs more, make it more believable so I don't just ask when I get here.
There's a slight quirk of a smile. And how much would that be? Just for future reference, of course.
Oh, if you just say it's 10% more, most people won't question it.
I apologize for treating you with sarcasm in a mean way.
Leo is just sort of he's thinking hard on phrasing. It was wrong to misjudge you and put you in the same scope as the rest of your family. Everything that happened back at the Guerrilla Manor really shaped my mind in the wrong way. I'm sorry.
Oh, how sweet. And the bunny, the snake?
It was in poor taste to not treat you like a member of the guild. I apologize.
Oh, thank you.
Side note, what does Familia's face look like during this apology session?
She is rolling her eyes as if she has seen her sister essentially make servants do this to her before.
Yes, I agree. I'm sorry, Rose.
Ah, how sweet. Thank you all very much. In return, would you like to know what you're fighting?
Indeed.
Kind of would like to know what happened.
Oh, would you like to give that story first?
Rev will give them, yes, the events of what happened after they departed.
Okay, they don't know that answer. You actually have to say it.
Oh, goodness. Okay, from which part? When he got kidnapped?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, all we knew is that you were going to hang out with Rose after the beach party.
Okay. Right. Right. I'm sorry. It's been, well, you know. Anyway, so after the beach, Rose wanted to speak with me. We went to her room at the inn. she revealed that she was a vampire there, threw me out a window, sicked the dragon on me. I was subdued. She took me. I'm not sure where, but it was dark, and I
Oh,
was.
Vampire Labyrinth. You were there earlier.
Ah, that's right. Yes, and I was bound, and she told me what she intended to do, which was the negotiations at the warehouse, absconding with me to go take out these, or two other vampires, or two vampires rather, destroy their coffins so that they cannot come back to life. And they were in said labyrinth, so during the warehouse excursion, we absconded to go do so.
Uh-huh.
Which is a great way to point out the things you're fighting. If you simply kill them, they'll come back unless you destroy their, well, we call them havens. It takes a while to make a new one, but they can move them within 2 weeks. So you have a very limited time to destroy a bunch more. Which
So,
I should mention, Reference here seems very keen on doing.
so just to make sure I have the right idea, you have started a war with vampires without any kind of warning?
Mm-hmm.
And now it is up to us to finish it or suffer the retaliation.
Actually, looks a little unimpressed.
This was always going to happen, wasn't it, Rev?
At some point or other, perhaps.
She seems satisfied by this answer.
So, anyway, would you like to know what we can do?
Please?
Well, I'm sure many of you figured out. We have very powerful charm magic. Don't worry about that too much as long as you hit them really hard, they might be able to break out of it. But it will last a day if they don't break out of it, so break them out of it. Us younger vampires who are very young can only do one at a time, though the older ones can multitask. Additionally, uh, we're able to be out in the sun, go through running water. There's no issues with any of that, except that our powers don't work. So we tend not to try to start fights there. And if we do start a fight there, we will just run and get out of there. I suppose I should continue with the more impressive things. I'm incredibly strong, incredibly powerful. My body closes up naturally. I require blood in order to survive. If I don't have blood, I get very, very hungry. And I was told if I get too hungry, I'm going to go berserk and try to kill anyone around me. And they follow certain rules, such as if they leave any marks that one of them has caused the kill, they are supposed to be executed almost immediately. And if you fight another vampire, you're supposed to be executed immediately. So I'm kill on sight.
I have 2 questions.
Mhm.
You mentioned a weakness to sunlight. Does that include bright light from spells?
Only if it gives the natural light of the sun.
She nods.
And it's not really a weakness so much as their powers don't work.
Does this include the power to return to their haven?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. If we get too wounded, we just immediately turn into mist and return to our little havens.
Unless you're wounded in the sunlight.
Unless we're wounded to a serious degree in the sunlight, yes. Or running water. Rainy days are the worst.
You mentioned regeneration. Is there a way to stop that?
I have no idea. Roll insight.
Sorry, getting there.
Do you want to use your superiority die on this?
Yes, I do. I apologize. It's taking a second to load.
All good.
$18.
With an 18, you can tell that she's not quite sure, but when you fought them the ones earlier, you think back. You think back carefully, and you notice whenever radiant damage hurt them, their bodies didn't close for a few seconds.
As she's studying Rose and comes to this realization, Navali, the spell that you did at the start of battle, our weapons glowed.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yes.
didn't heal.
Yes, the spell I used is basically to enchant our weapons with holy power, which I can assume maybe that's probably the reason why the wounds didn't heal up as quickly.
She nods. Then weapons enchanted with holy power should be an effective tool against vampires.
I suppose at this point it's just easier to answer questions. Do you have any?
How many are there?
Lots. Where to begin?
Perhaps one way to ask is, are the vampires that we've specifically upset, how large is that number? Is there a group of...
Oh, the Conclave of Bloody? They are about 57 people.
Sorry, of what? Bloody?
Body.
Body, okay.
Rose, did you perhaps happen to see anybody else that might have been under the control of the ones that we fought against?
Oh, you mean mind-controlled and enthralled by their presence? In your party, I assume. In the Outcasts.
That and friends of ours outside of the Outcast, yes.
No, I was their only spy.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, 57 vampires?
Mm-hmm.
And retaliation is going to come on strong.
Probably. Unless you make them have to defend themselves.
Leo's kind of giving a hard look at the group of like we barely took out 2 kind of look.
Like busting up their secret resting places?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned you took Reverence somewhere. Are the others there as well?
Their hiding places are. Their bodies? No, they're doing other things.
So you have to kill both the body and the hiding place.
Yes, but allow me to clarify something. If you blow up the hiding place, you break their coffins. It takes them a year to put it back together. Part of our soul is in there, I think.
So if a group of people were to destroy all those coffins, that might force those 55 vampires into...
54, I'm also was one of them.
54 vampires into a defensive position.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's also the other 3 conclaves, but I think they won't care.
One thing that I feel like we should mention is, Rev, we did reach out and contact the, if you remember the vampire woman that was underneath the basement, when we were after Cartel's Mark. We tried to reach out to her to get some information.
Janine?
Yes. I was curious if Janine was a part of this group.
Did you learn anything?
No, she basically said it will be interesting to see what happens. Is that right?
She's a part of the group. We made a gamble. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Exact words were they made a gamble.
Oh,
They made
never
a gamble.
mind. Then I shall completely change Six's statement to, she's not part of the group.
She did mention something about saying it looks like they made a move as well, so I think it might be right to assume that she is not with them. But I was just curious if perhaps there was a chance.
She could be part of the other conclaves. There are, as I stated before, 4 total ones. Let's just say, siring me was an unpopular decision, and they might not be particularly fond of the one you're about to do a lot of damage to.
What I'm confused about is they seem to have a grip on the guardsmen in town.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I don't understand how
It's the
well.
charm magic, I imagine.
Oh, no. Many of them, I believe the actual leader of the guards is a vampire.
Does Rosalind not know?
Oh, she knows.
I don't understand why she lets that around, but alright.
Oh, and how would you stop that, sweetie?
Navali,
Mm,
she has enough to worry about trying to deal with vampires. It would weaken her position.
Can't believe you nat 20'd that.
She'd be overextending herself considering what other business of hers we know about.
Navali shrugs.
Leo's scratching his chin, and as I have to run downstairs real quick. BRB.
It's fine. I just let 6 know extra information with that nat 20.
Rose, when did you meet Rosalind?
Oh, you mean the bronze-skinned woman who every now and then dillies over by your guild hall?
Sure.
That place that I stayed for several weeks?
Ah. I can assume she came to visit.
Mm-hmm. Dropped off one of those coins that I tried to take and you wouldn't let me have it.
And you learned what she does how?
She told me.
Can I attempt to insight her?
Sure. For my own curiosity, are you just seeing if she's lying, or are you looking for something in particular?
This is just a blanket. Is she lying, or did she obtain this information through more sinister means?
It does not seem that she did this through sinister means. In fact, the exact way that she's saying it seems more like Roswin did in fact just tell her. But the implications of that are a little confusing. But Rose doesn't seem to understand the implications.
Six does look a little bit confused at that, but inwardly thinks this is a conversation for later. She nods, her expression softens. I understand. Thank you.
Right. Any further questions?
With this new vampire lifestyle, are you still troubled by the 5?
Oh, I haven't heard their voices in a month. I've had 2 other annoying ones, but I just silenced those. Has it been only a few hours? A few hours ago.
I guess what I was more trying to ask is, do you still need our help in attempting to relinquish the 5's hold on you?
Well, they would simply still want me to marry someone if they didn't know I was a vampire, so I assume I'd still rather be here. Well, or elsewhere. I did try to get across the ocean, but unfortunately, Reverence here decided I'm more useful.
I'm sorry, out of character, I'm trying to ask, do we need to still do the ritual for her?
I have no idea.
Okay.
She is really bad at explaining that. But I am still happy to answer plenty more. I'm sure you have many burning questions about what the myriad of undead can do. But as I will let you know, the guards are most certainly on the vampire side, and many nobles are directly working with them as well.
Why?
They don't have a choice. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a nation for long enough that you got to see the little strings that make everyone dance?
She nods.
The vampires are the strings here.
This might be something you might not be able to answer, but are there any groups of vampires that aren't trying to actively harm people?
None of them are actively trying to harm people, I think.
They just don't want people getting in their way for some things.
Of course. For example, do you want to know the indignity they made me suffer? I was my only goal, the only thing they cared about, the reason they took risks, captured me, drained me of my blood, forced more blood down my throat until I was nothing but in pain for hours, if not days, I couldn't even tell you, was because they wanted me to spy on him. She points over to his reference. Because apparently he knows where someone who they very much wish was dead is.
Rev's ears pin.
Why
Well-
now?
Whatever do you mean?
Why would they kidnap Rev now? There's been better times. What changed?
Roll persuasion with advantage.
I'm gonna spend more dice. I'm gonna use my commanding presence. $17.
She's going to stare at you for a moment. Why does that matter?
It matters because it could mean something else is changing as well. You were talking about seeing the strings, right? I'm looking at the strings.
Reference, is this part of the everything?
Yes.
Does it have to be in public?
Can I insight her when she says that?
You may.
Oh, lovely.
You may think whatever you wish.
Is it better if we go to somewhere private?
No, I don't wish for all of you to hear this. I'm happy to tell at least one or two of you if it would make you feel better.
Uh, uh,
I don't wish to complicate things, but over the last 24 hours, I felt pretty left out And I guess I'm interested in hearing everything I can about what's happening, just so I can be as useful as I could possibly be.
I'm happy to tell the cute little half elf.
Well, I don't think I'm alone, and I don't know that I'm alone in saying that. If we're all a team, and if it's important.
Let one other person roll persuasion, as it's clear you're trying to make sure she says this to everybody.
It don't be me.
I can roll. I have a +6.
What?
She's literally a paladin. Of course, she has a high number.
Better
Any
than mine.
objections?
No, but-
All right, I'm gonna roll.
No.
I feel uncomfortable about this. It's just in general. I'm happy to tell one or two of you if it'll ease your minds, but it is not something that is a particular threat to you at this moment. Or should be a threat at all.
Reverence.
Hmm.
I want to go with Lyrin.
Very well.
Sure, she kind of gestures towards one of the empty rooms.
I'm sorry. Can I, as a player, because I stepped out for 5 minutes, did I? I don't actually totally understand what she's about to tell us. Is there a secret that she's some vulnerability?
Go ahead, Six, because this is the thing you try to get out.
I asked why Rev was suddenly kidnapped, as there were more opportune times, in Six's opinion, in the past.
Oh, right.
Something
yes.
must have changed. And something clearly has changed that she isn't comfortable saying in front of everyone.
Gotcha. Okay. I did hear that, and it went over my head. Thank you.
Head into a room alone with her for a moment, I assume.
Sure.
She closes the door. She waits for a moment to see if anyone's going to eavesdrop. Does anyone attempt to eavesdrop?
No. Or at least
Actually,
Rev
is do pick it up, but he's just still sitting there. And also, he casually says to Rev, "She does know that they will likely tell us, right?"
Rev just shrugs.
This is very hard for me to say in front of my sister, because it showcases that I did not enjoy this. However, my next mission was to capture and sire her.
Why didn't you?
I didn't think she'd survive. It's a very painful process.
So they needed someone else instead.
Well, more likely, if I chose not to do that for more than a few days, they would send someone else to do it. So I needed to act now. Though, I suppose your patron's going to be rather mad at me for that too.
So, if you said if things are changing, are you getting the sense that the conclave is trying to expand?
Well, more accurately, they've made many enemies.
So they're trying to shore up.
Yes.
Something's happening.
Is that the most that you know? You don't know what they're shoring up against?
Well, I assumed your patron was one of them, as she has definitely made her own plans known to me. But beyond that, it could be many things. The Rasahari is clearly changing. The sheer might of Iridia would cause some quaking of holy energy is a weakness to us. But overall, no, I am unaware. I've only been a vampire for a month after all.
Rosamund told you her plans.
One of them, yes.
Elaborate.
Oh, how do you think I know where all the havens are? She told me to find them.
She nods.
Which parts of this conversation?
Oh, just the sister one. I don't care about the Rosalind parts. Just don't let my sister know that I'm actually trying to protect her.
Less guild matters and tactics and more personally, why don't you want Permilia to know?
Do you have a sibling?
She nods.
Did you ever have that moment where you go, oh, if they know I'm doing this for them, they're going to be mad at me?
No.
God forbid your family is. Wouldn't she be grateful? Like,
Now, I do not believe that neither of you are used to having siblings then. I apologize. But no, I don't think that would be the thought process.
She'd feel insulted, like she couldn't do it herself.
Exactly. And I do not wish to have to fight with my sister already. I'm already a monster. I don't want to, exasperate the situation.
she'd feel insulted that her own sister tried not to turn her.
Of course. It would be me saying that I think I could easily beat her, which I could.
Tiliarin 6 says, Permilia is proud of her prowess on the battlefield. She puts a lot of her personal worth in that. She's very skilled. It would insult her to make her feel like she needed protecting.
I understand that to some point. I guess I would think that she would also feel maybe loved.
Oh, I don't think she needs that.
At the risk of sounding brusque, 6 doesn't know that word. At the risk of sounding angry, I know her better than you do. To Lyra, not to Rose.
Oh. Fair enough.
Right, well, shall we regroup now that you know that terrible secret?
I'll cover for you.
Oh, say it's something to do with the bronze woman. I'm sure that'll work just fine. Unless you stop her, she regroups with everyone else to continue this Q&A.
Leo hangs back a moment and just sort of like has his hand in his temple, kind of like under some kind of mental strain about this whole situation. But then we'll just follow the group, follow them out.
Right then, back to questions. Is there anything else you'd need to know?
Perhaps just a question on regards to the immediate urgency. Is the Conclave's communication network pretty quick moving? How safe would you feel staying here tonight and for our benefit as well?
Well, to put this in the simplest terms I can, some of them know that magical ability to ascend through the minds. They won't know they're dead until the morning, most likely. It would be very difficult. After all, it's so rare. How they'd have to check the haven or notice that someone didn't show up. After the morning, they'll know pretty quickly.
Are they able to track you? You didn't even know where this place is, but I'm not sure how familiar they are with where we are.
They'll be able to track many things. I have reason to believe they do know where this place is, even if I did not. Namely, the fact that he said the whorehouse, and I think that's what this is. I was only told what I needed to know, which is to make sure I follow Reverence, and if he does anything completely strange, to inform them, especially if he goes into weird locations.
Leo kind of turns to the group and says, I mean, it sounds like I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like we're fine tonight, but I don't know what this means for tomorrow or the next anything.
Oh, I do. It means lots of fighting.
We should begin by maybe informing our assets and maybe getting some people out of the city.
If we send them alone, they'll be vulnerable.
Right about now, I'm thinking, man, we need a stronghold in this city.
Are you saying your winery isn't a stronghold?
In the city. Yeah, that's next on the list of guild improvement projects. An office.
I love it. I'm in.
Wait, office / bolt hole. Can even do like reinforceable doors, Celestra.
Build it.
Did you say that they lose their powers at night or they lose their powers when in daylight?
Within the
Question.
daylight.
Okay.
So, just to give a simplistic idea, if the sun is out and I run into a building, my body will regenerate again.
Well, as much as I want to sleep now, frankly, I wonder if we should change our schedule. Sleep during the day. Or excuse me. No. Yeah, sleep during the day. Well, depends on the strategy, but
Well, if we wish to talk about battle strategy, I believe Reverence has a bit of an idea.
Before we get to battle strategy, I do want to make sure everyone is safe. So let's address that first, if we may.
Oh, very well. I'll simply go back to being quiet and questioning.
Did we bring our mounts with us?
Mira's gone. The foxes you kept at the guild hall.
Okay.
And still Luna is also in the guild hall, by the way. Because I know Mega cares.
Yes, I do.
I mean, between Azel and I, were we? I don't know that they would want to, or that I'm just sort of stating this as an option on the table. But between Azel and I, anybody within the Tandem Imperium could be sent to the circle that we came back to Dulveron through. So that's one option that is semi-expedient. And I think Azel probably would know how to take care of Bligger Splorts, make sure that they are kept safe.
Was that location not Azel's secret?
It was Azel's. As I understand it, it's Azel's property, but it's it's a safe place. I don't know that it's secret from her own people.
How well does Six look, by the way,
In what regard?
health-wise?
She's completely healed.
Okay. Regardless, I feel it would not be a good idea to waste spells unnecessarily. Reverence, provide a list and we can perhaps rent a horse and let people.
All right, so I mean, I have. Well, I think you've all met Altair. I would like to contact him. There's the orphanage to consider, I think. Who else?
I don't know how much they know about us. I mean, we just spent an entire day with the bearded anvil.
We might be able to assume that anyone who was with us at the beach is at risk.
I did witness all of it and had to report that.
I will go to warn them tomorrow in person if that's permissible, Rev.
Agreed. Let them know and see what they want to do. See what they want to do.
I was thinking we might do it now.
She nods.
Pretty good.
Perhaps at best if maybe I go to the orphanage tonight and spend my night there. I can keep watch.
And then is the plan, am I understanding correctly, that we are just herding everyone to Azel's, assuming she's okay with it?
We might want to discuss this with Azel first before we assume.
Of course.
Yes, because assuming things always works out great.
Is she here? Did she go in the basement?
She's in the basement. You haven't seen her at all, but you can assume so because no one said she's gone.
I don't know if I'll be able to convince the entire orphanage to leave.
I should also, just to be clear, the spell would. We can't shuffle hundreds of people through it at once. It may be that different allies may need to find different solutions for, or that we need to find different solutions for them.
Reverence.
Yes,
May I offer a tactical opinion?
please.
Moving this many people isn't feasible. Rose already said we could force them on a defensive position. If the vampires are defending themselves, they can't attack us.
So just strike first and strike hard.
She grins.
Very well. Now we can discuss battle strategy, Rose.
Oh, fun! Are you sure you have no more questions before I start talking about the hundreds miles, almost city-wide area underneath this city that the vampires' havens are in?
Is there something we should have questions about that you think we would find helpful?
Oh, I have no idea. Suppose I will mention that I do know about the orphanage, which means they would definitely be in danger. But obviously, if they're defending themselves, they can't really attack, can they? Oh, also, she looks directly at Navale as she says this. Cute little bats, they talk a lot.
Are you saying Staluna has given out some information?
Oh, yes, apparently I can understand bats and rats now.
Oh, one second. Wallace!
God damn it, Wallace.
I wouldn't concern yourself too much. Do you want to know what the bat mostly stated for you?
Navali kind of looks slightly nervous, but nods.
I really like fruit, and she keeps giving me fruit, so she's really nice.
Navali has a little bit of a smile now and sighs a little. I'm glad she likes the fruit.
Also, I believe she believes that the elk is a mobile home.
She is rather attached to Mira. I guess that makes sense. Well, I don't want to limit her freedom to be able to go where she wants to, but you don't think other vampires might harm her?
Oh, highly doubtful, but consider her a useful piece of information.
That's good.
Besides, now it's likely difficult to even get into your guild hall. The Fae likely made it, let's just say, tricky for our kind to maneuver.
Wait, are you saying that it might be considered a safe haven over there at Guildhall?
Hmm, more that if they strike it, they're only going to use minions and thralls. They'd likely not risk themselves.
If we have any sort of worry for anyone specifically, we might be able to send them to our guild hall for protection then.
That would mean 3 days of traveling in the open, however.
If we're going to discuss battle plans, maybe we should do it there.
That might be a good idea. We could take some people with us if they would like to have some safety.
I would recommend against that. So the more time you give them, the more time they have time to strike.
And there's nothing stopping them from just surrounding the winery.
So when do we leave?
Well, with all due respect, you all kind of look like used food. So not tonight. Perhaps in the morning we can discuss exactly where it means, and the day after that you can gather supplies, and the third day you can strike.
Navali looks to Rev.
Rev nods.
That looks fresh as daisies.
Right, well, before I get into the nitty-gritty details of exactly what's down there, may I also mention the terms of this part of the deal? I get hungry, and your guild leader has agreed that I will be fed. Might I ask who will be happy to feed me over the next few days?
You will come to me first when you're hungry.
Oh, but I don't like your fur.
Too bad.
Does anyone else volunteer? She frowns. Fine.
I'll volunteer, Rose.
You know that's just as bad.
Definitely a smirk though.
Also, do you wish to apologize for your sarcasm this time?
I was thinking maybe we could establish a relationship where we can be sarcastic on friendly terms, because I don't think I can stop being sarcastic.
Right.
Considering
So
she just called
anyway-
us food.
Well, when you put it like that, would you like to know about the underground city?
Please.
I personally know of 3 entrances. There's one in the far southwest, one in the far northeast, and one closer to the south. They will not harm me, personally, or wouldn't. They probably will now I'm kill on sight. But it is large in such a way that you could get very easily lost in. If you are going to investigate it, I suggest bringing enough food and water and all of that you might even be able to sleep down there. It is a city. There are many traps, though, to put this in mild terms, they're traps that my persuasion would not be affected by. So poisons, things that will latch onto your soul and try to suck it out, I'd be careful of that. And there are many guardians. You fought one of them. She looks over towards Reverence. There are many like that. When they realize that your intent, there will likely be many more.
So we keep a low profile for as long as we can.
If you can, for certain. The moment you break one of the havens, the person who is still alive will know. I'm happy to inform you that there are many of them, and they will not have enough time to stop you directly, as long as you keep moving. I cannot tell you how many you'll destroy, but I can tell you that they often goes in groups of 2s and 3s.
But how dense is it? Like is there, are they all in the same?
Oh no, they
Mile
spread out
radius?
heavily. To put this in simplistic terms, there are well over 100 rooms. They made sure that if one person made a haven there, others would not make a haven within the next 4 or 5 rooms nearby.
But if as soon as we destroy one, word gets out, it could become increasingly dangerous to destroy more over the next days.
Indeed, it is risk management. You can decide exactly how many you would like, and hopefully it'll be enough to make them go, oh no, we have to suddenly switch to defense.
So this is, I guess I was hoping that we take them all out and then they go on defense for a long-term thing, but realistically, we probably only take out a couple more, I'm expecting. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much we can do before they congregate.
Well, I highly doubt any of them would bother to immediately run back to the Haven, as that is far too risky. They'll just send more minions. After all, if you are killing them, and they try to defend their Haven, and their Haven is right there, they know true death is possible. They are far more likely to try and leave. That would take weeks.
So you think them going on the defensive doesn't mean protecting their havens, but them leaving Dulveron?
Well, leaving their current haven, moving where they're placed, so to speak. If we destroy them, it'll take a year. Moving takes a few weeks. I promise you, if you break a few, they'll start trying to move and you have a few weeks of time. If you break many more, you might have a full year.
So we hit hard and fast, like Six says, and then hunt them down one by one.
I think that's his intention, yes. She looks at
Yeah.
Revs as she says that.
Indeed.
Well, I'm definitely feeling more hopeful than I had at the start.
I will give this simple warning that it is very dangerous down there. They have sent many guardians, and, well, to be quite frank, expect much battle.
And will you be joining us, Rose?
Oh, I have no choice. He told me that's what he wished. You need a guide, after all.
That point. And there is no chance of them swaying you back?
Oh, I suppose I didn't answer that. When a new vampire has been created, those who sire them are in their heads, whispering sweet nothings and trying to control them. They're dead. I am my own.
Character nods in satisfaction.
So you're undead.
As far as I know. She reaches and puts two fingers at her neck. I don't feel a pulse.
I looked up Ermilia to see if she looks sad about that.
She does. There's no insight required there. She has been keeping quiet and off to the side, but she looks broken up about this and obviously doesn't want to talk about the situation, at least not in this way.
I wonder if there's a way to undo that, but that might be a conversation for another day.
Mass murder first, please. Right, well, we have a battle strategy. Would all of you like to get a nice long rest and absolutely only one of you becomes a snack? Looks towards Reverence.
If there's anything else.
Is there?
Rev looks at the group.
I wish to warn the bearded anvil.
Of course. I'll accompany you if you like.
She nods.
Aren't you looking a little rough? Rev?
Sorry?
Aren't you looking a little rough?
Oh, Rev's at full HP.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd...
Rev kicked Rose's
That's
ass.
Yeah, true.
I don't know that.
And that
Leo...
guardian didn't give us in trouble either.
Oh, sorry. Leo's mind in this moment is if your guys are going to go warn the bearded anvil, presumably they are not just sleeping next to the anvils and forges. So comes to mind to Leo, like he could send a message ahead of you to say there's an urgent need to meet. We have people coming to your place. Like, does that sound correct?
So you do know. Actually, I don't think Leo has actually been to their anvils, forges.
That's true.
Six is at least aware. It is designed that there are beds, like there's a barracks in there. They don't all live there, but some people do. At least sleep there.
All right, maybe not then.
So, how about we do this? Six and Rev head off to the invaded Anvil and warn them. And after we warn them, after that scene, we'll take a small break. Sound good?
Sure.
Six, Reverence. It's dark out. It's around 9 p.m. at this point, nearing towards 10. There's still some movement, but it's clearly dying down. Even then, you're in the area where that movement of there are businesses open, there are people still moving around, and no one else seems even mildly concerned about the stuff that you're aware about. And as you arrive towards the bearded anvil, I don't think Reverence has ever. Oh, Reverence has been here, just never inside.
Right.
You can see that there is some smokestacks going. People are currently likely working through the night for at least a little while. I assume Six goes to knock on the door.
Before she does, she sort of asides to Rev. Hey. You handled things really well back there.
Thank you.
It's not a surprise to me that you're in charge.
Rev kind of clams up.
Sorry.
No, I appreciate it. I do. Thank you.
The dwarves are nice. They're good people. I don't want to see something happen to them.
No, of course not.
Knock, knock, knock.
You knock a few times. It's not the older dwarf who answers this time, but a younger one with thick black hair and a black beard that's braided in multiple ways. He kind of looks at you. There's still recognition in his eye. I remember you. We're not doing any extra orders tonight. We don't have extra work for you. We're just closing up soon.
She nods. I'm sorry to bother you. My guild leader and I carry a warning. Something bad happened at the party, and we wish to warn you and your leader.
Hold on, let me go get him then. He's already went to bed. Is it urgent?
She nods.
Sure. He clambers off for a bit, and a moment later, the older dwarf comes to you. I was told this is urgent. There's a warning. Something happened after the party.
Can we talk inside?
Sure. He lets you in.
As we're going in, Six asks, Reverence, can you explain? You know the details better than I do.
Of course.
Do you explain?
Yeah. Yes. The nature of the threat, the undead, etc.
Sure. I'm not going to actually have you say it all out loud, but I will ask you for a very basic persuasion check. He kind of nods along for a moment. That's heavy and dark. All right, hold on. Just so I'm clear, you think we're in danger because of these vampires own everything in the city?
Potentially, yes.
I am afraid that they will attempt to strike at you to harm us.
Let them try. We're dwarves. We relish the fight.
She grins. I apologize for you having been put in this position.
Don't apologize. If it's a good fight, we'll probably praise you for it in the first place.
I'll impart their weaknesses that we know of to the dwarves as well.
They do make note of this, and one of them in the back just shouts out, we can get the priest to make some holy water. Yeah, that's a good idea. Don't worry about us. If they attack us, we're adventuring guild first and forgers second.
Well, in exchange for the warning, if they do come for you, I wish to hear the story of how you beat the shit out of them.
We'll tell tales that your generation... How long do you cats live again?
Like 60, 70 years?
Yeah, generations. That generations down the line will hear.
While we're here, I'll drop off 2 gold coins from Moradin.
He doesn't stop you from doing that. Well, I promise you this. We will see each other again as long as you don't die.
I'm not gonna die to some vampires.
Good. Also, if they really do own the city, I mean, to be quite frank, we're all fucked anyway. They literally pay our paychecks. You realize that, right?
I'm trying not to think about it too hard.
You'll find a way to make do.
And with the donation, and I assume leaving to regroup with the party again and figure out exactly what you do in the morning, and probably a couple more private conversations during the long rest, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. While you were discussing everything with the bearded anvil, let's cut back to the people who did not come with you. Is there anything the party is doing over the course of the night?
I have several people who I kind of want to talk to personally.
Okay.
First is kind of a potentially quick one, but Leo, I'm kind of imagining we're in everybody sitting in their own corners mode, not table meeting.
That is basically what happened when Six and Rev left, yes.
Yeah, so Leo would first quick stop with Karito and say, your friend Tushiki, should I call them here?
Karto is off. I will take care of it.
All right. If Karto doesn't stop him, then he would move on to his next conversation. He would probably, his instincts, would it be correct that Naval, like in this time, Navali and Vermilia probably go retreat to a room to talk.
Good question, Navali. Is that what you're trying to do?
I guess if everything was done for the night, Navali would probably, just see if Perm wants to retire to a room.
As you attempt to do this, Navali, Rose is also trying to grab Perm to discuss something privately.
Navali is not going to stop Perm from talking to her sister unless Perm doesn't want to talk right now.
She seems like she knows it's going to be a hard conversation, but one that she needs to have and is like going with her, unless you very clearly needed her attention.
No, Navali will let Perm go.
In that case, well, I think Leo was originally, I was going to describe it as he was going to pass by Navali and Perm's room because he figured they needed like some space to decompress all this. I'll still do what I was going to do initially. He passes by Navali's room and goes to wherever Salastra is. Are you busy, Salastra?
No. What is it?
I'm being frank. Just could use somebody to talk to about all this. I don't want to burden you with that, but I guess I kind of need a little bit of help.
No worry. What are you concerned about?
Leo sits down next to you and just sort of says, I'm trying to adopt the mindset of this all being a good idea and that we will, be successful. I think self-actuate is one of the words I've heard. Trying to envision us being successful at all this, but I need a reality check because my mind is distracted with criticism on how this all unfolded.
I see. What sort of criticism do you mean?
I recognize the irony of me saying this. I have no room to say such things, but I feel like declaring war in this fashion should have been brought to the guild.
Well, it seems that was more of Rose's decision than anyone else, and I would agree. I don't think anyone expected that to happen, but I don't know what we can do about it now.
And to that's sort of why I'm trying to just imagine moving on and being successful, and maybe I'll feel all better about this in a week, but I guess again, I know what I did was sort of unforgivable when I left and disappeared for some time. And I didn't consult the group, and it's not a one-to-one comparison at all. Perhaps Rev was just making the best out of a bad situation. but I feel like I'm just being told to accept it. And 6 was very quick to accept it. And I don't know if that's just a quality that she has that I don't have. But I guess it just feels like we were left behind and thrown into the danger zone, thrown in front of a few vampires and a horde of undead as part of a gambit. And I guess I just don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that.
Well, the rest of us are pretty much in the same situation, and I'm sure a lot of them feel similar to the way you do. I will say you and 6 are definitely very different people, and I don't know that you do share that quality with her. That's okay. And I think you have the right attitude about it now, where we just have to try our best and work with the situation at hand. But I guess maybe it would be worth talking to Rev about if you think that there might have been something to change about it, but that's up to you whether that's important to you or not.
I feel like in no way am I suggesting that it should come from you or anybody else, but I have no right to offer critique on what it means to be a leader. Like that would not go well.
Well, it doesn't have to be a critique. You could just ask questions.
I lost. I don't think Rev respects me in that way. That me asking questions would be valuable. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think Rev would want you to understand the situation, and if you have concerns about it, I'm sure he would be happy to talk to you about it. I don't see why his respect for you would change that, and maybe he would respect that you wanted to learn more.
You can see that Leo's considering. There's certainly unease, but that there's appreciation for the insight. I'm not trying to convince you of anything, but may I ask how you feel about all this? Maybe your perspective would.
Oh, well, I think it was quite a bold move for Rose to drop us into a situation like this, and I think if we had thought about it as a group or had the opportunity to consider it, it would be very different. But we're in the situation we're in, and we just have to dig ourselves out of it.
And do you think we can trust Rose? I say this with all kindness intended. I think we offended her upon the induction, but she did sort of abduct our leader.
I
he seems
would
okay
say
with that.
There's definitely trust to be earned, that's for sure.
To the mm. There's not much more I can say, but I do appreciate the insight. I'll do my best, and I'm trying to learn to kind of be more thoughtful in how I approach my emotions, so that I don't just sort of blurt out and say the wrong thing. But I guess I just feel lost on what to do other than hope that our plan works and hope that none of us die in the process.
Well, I don't think you're alone in that feeling.
Something to talk about later, but what I said about bringing Rose back from her current state, this might be something that I would, if anybody can do it, I expect it to be more in your skill set. But if you, well, if this is something we pursue and I can be helpful in any way, maybe let me know.
I could do a little research. Do you know much about sort of the root of vampirism? I'm not sure how I could go about affecting that.
The nature of all of my research around vampires thus far has, the only conclusion I can come to is that they've really controlled the narrative. And so it's very hard to trust anything that I've read before.
I see.
The fact that they can walk in the daylight is a complete opposite to anything that we would ever know. And there's been evidence that they've cleaned up notes about themselves in the past. So ultimately, it maybe there may be, maybe it's something to talk about later. I don't know where to start. But I
see.
I do know that I hope that she's not planning to feed on us for all time.
That would be a bit of a nuisance. We may have to learn more as we go.
Right. Do you need anything before I disappear?
I'm okay for now, but if you come up with any ideas as to how I could be useful in that regard, let me know.
I mean, anything in your repertoire that is anti-undead might be very useful.
Understood.
Leo says sarcastically, knowing that you already know that. Leo sort of nods and then leaves.
As you leave and the conversation turns to sarcasm, I have to ask Navali an important question.
Yes.
You are left alone. Do you eavesdrop on the conversation going on in the room next door?
No.
Karuto, do you eavesdrop on the conversation going in the room next to Navali?
I was just pointing out that she's not alone.
Oh, are you two going to have a conversation? Never mind.
No, wasn't planning to. I was just saying she's not alone. I exist. Acknowledge me.
Karuto, you exist. What are you doing in the Tandem Imperium right now?
In the time of Imperium, probably getting some sleep. He's gonna say his goodnights to Navali and find a bed.
I have acknowledged you and proven that your acknowledgement did not matter for my question.
Oh. No, that's fine.
If Navali is alone, I guess Leo would quickly check in with her and just sort of say, not that we don't know if they weren't listening anyway, but should somebody talk to Crow about all this?
I think that would be best, but perhaps not tonight. I think we've all had enough surprises. Might be worth it to save it for tomorrow.
You okay?
Yes. I'm alright, Leo. Are you doing okay?
Kind of gives a sort of sad smirk and says, "Same."
I'm sure things will get figured out. They just need some time.
Well, I'll be around if you need me.
Thank you.
Leo leaves, and that's all I have for tonight. If we're not telling Crow.
Oh, good. Reverence and Six, you're not gone for the entire night. And you do arrive back, probably as Leo just leaves the conversation with Navali, if there's anything you would like to do.
Six sort of feels out loud to Rev that she wanted to check in with Permilia.
I would like to as well.
Separate, or maybe together?
I guess we could go together if you want, unless you want to go alone.
No. I think it would be helpful if you were there too. Let's do it together.
You don't actually see Permilia in the room as you enter. You do notice that Navali's room is likely still open and Navali is not with her.
Hey, Navali, are you going to bed?
I was actually going to stay up and wait for Perm before I did.
Oh, we were actually looking for her too.
She's with Rose.
Gotcha. Are you okay?
Mm-hmm. I'm doing fine. What about you?
I feel like I'm supposed to feel bad, but I don't. We kicked ass today.
We did kick a lot of ass today. You know what's funny? Do you remember what that one vampire said to me before I beheaded him?
She shakes her head.
He said, "I'll see you again." Six, do you know how much money I would love to pay to see his face realizing what had just happened?
Well, we can thank Rev for that one.
Rev and Rose.
Rev
But
and
yes.
Rose.
It might be a little strange to hear, but that at least gave me a little joy hearing that they were dealt with.
Yeah, you two had me fooled.
Well, I'm just glad that the day is over and we can finally have some rest. Even if we have a lot to deal with in the morning.
We've got this.
We've always got it. But
Okay.
no, go for it.
I will try not to keep Permelia too long. She looks at Rev.
Yeah.
It's all right. She's had a rough night though, so um, uh, just keep note of that.
She nods.
As you keep notes and take a moment, eventually the door off to the side opens and Rose and Camellia each walk out. Rose seems to be rubbing her shoulder as if she clearly stressed it out somewhere and just wanders off on her own. Camellia is seemingly starting to head back to Navali and does register that Six and Rev are there.
Rev, this is your cue.
Amelia.
Hmm?
Might we have just a moment of your time?
Sure. Sorry. Right, well, we just run that. Right. See you soon in the valley, I guess. And you take her back to her room.
Are you doing okay, Permelia?
There's been a lot. Okay. Can I ask? This is gonna sound kind of weird, but Rev,
Yes.
she said a devil appeared and hit her with my sword.
Oh, yes.
How?
Kind of looks at Six.
A plan.
Okay, the devil. Oh, I know you needed me to give the sword to someone in the Tandem Imperium, and Linnell took it because they were going to follow you. I know that. You told me that. I think it was you, maybe?
Six has an oh no look on her face to Rev.
That's correct. And a devil was employed in using the sword, yes.
I didn't know we had deals with it. She's just confused and wanted to laugh at me. It's fine. Uh, it worked, I think.
I think so. Did they return this? Do you have the sword? Did it find its way back to you?
I was gonna ask in the morning. I'm too tired to care.
Right, of course.
She's still my sister. I can tell that much.
You know that none of this is your fault, right?
It's a little bit my fault.
How?
If I would have at least known what could have been here, I could have warned her or told her not to follow in my footsteps or something.
Amelia, the fault is entirely mine. I'm sorry.
I want to do something, and it would get me court-martialed and executed. May I do it anyway?
Of course.
She slaps her in the face.
Rev takes a slap to the face.
Take 4 damage.
That was a big slap.
She put a lot of force into that.
I'm not angry at you. I'm really not. She's still her. Please, if I'm gonna put people in danger, I need to know, okay?
He nods in his ears, Wilt.
That said, how did you do that through my dream?
It's a spell. It came to me.
Okay, it's not my power, thank God.
No, that was me.
Sorry, just things randomly keep happening to me, and I'm starting to be afraid that maybe the jokes about me being the Iron Angel are true.
I mean,
I'm not.
we're gonna get through this together.
I know. And for what it's worth, thank you for giving her another chance.
Rev tries to smile.
Six nods. Rose is a victim too. And we're Shield of the Outcast, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. She's an outcast vampire now, and that's just weird. Do you want to know what she tried to do immediately when we got a chance?
What?
She said, I'm so much stronger than you now, and tried to arm wrestle me.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she win?
No.
Hasn't she learned? She's known you way longer than I have. No one should try to compete with you.
That's how I know it's still her, though. Just so you know, Rev, if you ever start feeling woozy and don't think you can give her any more, it'll be okay. You're still first, though. You deserve it.
And of course.
Anyway, is there anything else? I'd really like to give someone a hug and sleep well tonight, in a way.
I've looked to 6.
No. I'm glad you're okay.
I am glad you're okay, too. She's looking at Rev as she says this.
Likewise. And then Rev will depart.
Same.
As she heads back to Navali's room, Reverence, you realize you have someone constantly following you like a lost puppy. BD is just staring at you.
Oh. Rev will stop and turn around.
Okay, so I've been listening to everything that's been going on for the past 12 hours, and I have no fucking clue.
Okay. I'd be happy to fill you in.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. Blonde girl, not our enemy anymore.
Correct.
Okay, good. 2, you're gonna go wage a war against some undead horde.
Also correct.
Cool. Can I absolutely write stories and songs about this when you're done?
Sure, be my guest.
Excellent, no issues. 3, this is a weird one, but I was totally eavesdropping on what you were talking about with the other blonde girl. Why does she think she's the Iron Angel?
What do you mean?
Well, she used that, so I assume that you know who that is.
We have heard that term before. We don't know who that is. I think she was just making a joke.
Oh, okay. So it's just like a title that just gets thrown around in this lands?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think we're on the same page. What
Listen,
do
I've
you
been
know
really
something?
confused. Maybe do you like? Is that just? Is there some kind of religious thing where there's like an angel and irons around here?
No?
Where'd you hear that term, that name?
Or did we originally learn that term?
Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Scarlet, that's right. General Scarlet.
Who?
Iridian General.
And how did he know that name?
I don't believe he ever said.
Prophecy,
He
wasn't
said
it?
to seek them out, I believe. Or seek their weapon?
Why would they care about her weapon?
Something about sealing, I think, the portal that we interacted with in the desert?
Oh, yeah, that makes way more sense.
It does?
Sure. Oh, sorry, yes, I know who that is.
You do?
Huh?
You know who the Iron Angel is?
Yeah, her sister taught me how to use a sword.
Why don't we sit down and have a chat?
Sure?
Revel, maybe go get whoever else is awake and around. He knows Permilly and Navali are off and away, probably.
I'll confirm. Navali, when Perm comes back, do you just close the door?
Yes, and give her a hug. A big one.
Leo joins in the rally. Assuming that everybody else is being called.
Can I assume that everyone except Navali is going to be here then?
Character went to a bedroom, so someone had to fetch
Everyone
him.
except Navali and possibly Karato, depending on whether or not someone woke Karato up for this.
It's kind of just like anybody who's awake, and obviously we're going to share this information.
Leo's probably just sitting at the bar, contemplating.
So 6, Alastra, Leo, Rev. I don't know why you're gathering everyone. Is it that important?
Maybe.
Something up?
Yeah, I mean, I just know the name Iron Angel. I know who that is.
Leo's eyes widen a bit.
Is this you guys have never mentioned this in front of me before? Is this new?
Perhaps we have catching up to do, but suffice to say, he looks at Rev for kind of is it okay to say eyes? Perhaps the Iron Angel is of great interest to us.
I'm very interested to hear what you have to say, BD.
Sure. So, the woman who taught me how to use a sword, her name is Dawn, and she had a sister who was pretty famous in our lands for a while. Um, she was considered an angel to many because she could grow these gigantic purple butterfly wings and always wore full plate armor, and thus got that little nickname that you keep hearing. Her name was Allura Theorem. She disappeared when I was younger, like 8 or 9 years ago, but I was told she's definitely alive.
Can you spell that? Can I, like, any off chance history check things I could do? Or is it too vague?
Yes, but it's a high DC. That is a high DC. There was some stuff that you remember reading back in the libraries in Luminous. It's not necessarily about a woman named Allura Therum, but about the giant purple butterfly wings. Namely, there was some theory that there was a goddess reincarnated into a body around 20 years ago that has been actively doing things on this plane.
In
Sorry,
any particular
37 years ago.
in any particular region?
They weren't sure which region, though in general they know it came from the far north, which would be the Blood Continent.
Doing good things, like things that were thought of as favorable, or potentially
was
making things worse
many-
over there.
Many tales of her fighting in wars, and when it comes to fighting in wars, they tried not to make rash judgments of whether that was good or evil.
Gotcha. I've heard that name, although it's been some time. And her sister Dawn is back from where you're from?
She was still alive when I was captured, so I assume she's still alive. She was pretty good with a sword.
Could you, I mean, so did you ever meet Allura?
I was told I had, but it was a long time ago. I vaguely remember she had silver hair.
Do you remember anything about the weapons she carried, or even stories from back home about what the Iron Angel uses?
Oh, stories. I can definitely do stories. They told me a lot of stories. So the butterfly angel, the Iron Angel, used a sword and a shield who would protect you. The long sword itself glue with that holy power that could seal the very fabric of dimensions. Any demon that were touched by her blade will not return to the hells, but be sealed within the sword itself.
What did the sword look like?
I have no idea. Some say it was like this huge, giant, great sword, but most people were talking more about just. Well, I mean, Don laughed whenever someone made jokes about that, so I assume it was like a sword.
Did it have a name?
I don't know.
Looks to Rev 6 Thostra and says, do the words Angel's Bane mean anything?
Let me just roll something real quick. Nope.
Hmm. Well, I suppose it would be fair to catch you up on things, like why this is interesting to us, if you're interested.
I mean, I've been here in this place the entire time, just no one notices me all the time.
I'm sorry. I hope you don't feel ignored.
I mean, no, it's more just I find it amusing that you keep forgetting I've always been around.
Uh, well, Leo will spend 5 minutes just sort of like, you know, echoing some of what's already been said about closing a portal, yada yada yada. Not mentioning the sword that we have, but just sort of like maybe filling in some of the details about like why it's important to us.
Be clear, she's seen Angel's Bane.
Yeah, but she hasn't heard its name, so I don't know. I guess, yeah. If nobody stops Leo, he doesn't want to give too much information, but he would say like we think we've been curious about the sword we have called Angel's Bane, and it seems to have similar powers and yada yada yada, and sort of.
Oh, I mean, I kind of know the story of that sword, I guess, but it's not the same sword. Like, if it has similar powers, right?
I mean, based on how you've described the sword of the Iron Angel, yes, similar, but not the same.
So after she disappeared, so a bunch of people tried to remake her weapon, and that was one of the attempts.
Uh, Leo doesn't want to do all the talking if other people have questions to ask. He's just sort of pondering all this.
Does anyone have questions for BD, who's just kind of looking towards all of you like, why is this important?
Rev's just kind of soaking it all in.
VD, you're awesome.
Hell yeah, I am. Why am I awesome?
We didn't know anything about this.
Really? She's really famous over where I'm from.
Well, we're not from where you are.
I guess I didn't realize it was important.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Anyway, I would also like to use this as leverage as I don't want to fight vampires.
Understandable. Okay. Very well.
So, can I go get a room now?
Sure.
She scampers off.
She said some time ago that she was from a place called Hope's End. I don't know where that is, but I wonder if when we inevitably need to find the sword, if that's our direction, that we should find a way to go there.
I think it'd be a good place to start.
Things go well with the anvil.
Six nods. We shared strategic information with them about doing battle with vampires. They were very passionate about defending their territory.
Leo kind of like breathes through the nose, trying to come up with what that means.
Hang on. What I mean is, they were thankful for the information, and they're ready to defend themselves if they're attacked.
Well, before we go to sleep, I do have one spell left. If there's somebody I should notify. I know you said you wanted to get to Altair. I don't know what I could tell him in 12 seconds, but
I think, with the understanding that our intention is to hit them as hard as possible and ensure that they, can't retaliate in any immediate fashion, maybe it's better not to worry him. Thank you, though.
all right. Leo will get up and find a room.
Briefly, is there anything else people wanted to do before you take a long rest?
Is Willow here?
You're not quite sure where Willow currently is. He's been staying at inns normally, but he hasn't actually normally been staying in the Tandem Imperium with you.
Gotcha. Won't worry about it then.
Unless someone stops me, you successfully long rest.
Wow.
Reverence.
Yes.
Do not add 3 hit dice when you long rest. Remove 3 of them after you cure everything, I guess is the better way to phrase that.
Oh, so I shouldn't have subtracted them before.
No, you should have.
Oh, gotcha.
They
Okay,
just don't
done.
recover.
You don't know if it's permanent or not, but they did not recover now.
I'm sorry, did you say we can long rest?
You can long rest.
Yay.
You may get all your spell slots back. I love that fun stuff. As the morning comes, your exhausted bodies wake up without too much issue. You can all smell what appears to be the smell of eggs cooking and breakfast plates being set out as crows come up stairs to at least serve the people who need human food. Anything you'd like to do for the morning?
Leo would thank Crow, but then also just sort of raise raise the question about supplying up and what that means. At the very least, if we're going to ground and might find ourselves in a tight spot, I might need to get another piece of chalk just as a means of getting out if we find ourselves cornered underground.
I know Azel stores plenty of it, but she's going to want gold for it this time.
We can pull that from the guild fund, I think. Which reminds me, actually, I'll pull out a bag of gold.
As you do so, you notice Rose is awake and staring at it. See, I'm very trustworthy. I didn't take it.
Is it a heavy bag of gold?
Want to explain how much money it is, Rev?
600 pieces, I believe. 600 pieces, and let me hang on. I have the note somewhere. I'm not immediately finding the note. If I'm
It's
remember,
600 pieces, yes.
and like
Additionally, you need to go talk to the people who you paid for the beach, and they will reimburse you because they got paid by the government.
yes.
Yeah, cool. I'm adding everything to guild funds on the assumption we're not splitting things up at the moment.
Makes sense. As you start counting the gold and realizing you have considerably more wealth, there's a knock at the door, which Crow just kind of gestures to wait as she goes to get it. You hear some voices. I would like Karato or Navali to roll perception.
Sure.
Well, since it's hearing,
Oh yeah, it is hearing.
It is hearing. Yes, you may roll with advantage, Navali.
oh, your dice have just not been kind to you today.
No, they haven't.
Karato, you are also rolling now.
Oh, so you said or. Okay.
No, and. Karato, you can clearly hear the voices. One sounds a little bit angry, definitely masculine, but not so much like yelling, so much as trying to exclaim something, and there's no possible way to respond back. The exact words, it sounds something about murders and current not being allowed to function for some time, and some other stuff that's definitely political and bad sounding. As you get close to find out, the door is closed, and Crow just looks back. Just starts walking back, looking perturbed. Right. If you need anything, I need to tell everyone downstairs some information. Knock on the door.
Naruto just like looks at her rather pointedly. Doesn't say anything.
Go ahead and give me an insight.
Insight is one of my best rolls. Let's go.
It's very clear. She has a look of frustration on her face that she's trying not to let the rest of the people around her see at the moment. But she desperately needs to tell people downstairs things.
Naruto says, anything we might be able to do to help?
Maybe. Why don't you clear out and see what you can get, and you can come back later, and I'll be able to give you more information.
He nods and gestures that everyone should probably do this.
I'll ask, do people clear out?
Yes.
Yes, but I am summoning Mira back.
As you walk outside and you spend that minute, Mira reappears in front of you, no antlers in female form, and just nuzzles you.
She gives Mira's lots of pets and a hug, telling her what good of a job she did yesterday.
You get a feeling of affirmation in the sense of, I know.
I will also, if Staluna is not sleeping, I will bring Staluna to Mira.
Staluna is currently in the guild hall.
Oh, she is at the guild hall. Oh.
You did not take her along thinking there might be danger.
That is true, I do remember this. Well, Mira, I was thinking of going into town for a bit. Would you like to join me?
Warm affirmations.
All right. Navali will go to the group and ask, is there anything in particular that we should look out for?
Well, I was going to look for the chalk, even though Hazel has it. If we're out, we might as well look for it anywhere. I don't know if there's anything pressing that we need to learn, but I've told you all about this spell that I have, and I wonder. A lot of what we've talked about is probably not immediately urgent, but I wonder if there's anything I could look into to help us in the coming fight. Something I could look into the conclave more thoroughly. I could maybe just look into vampires in general to see if there's more that we should prepare.
Oh, the dwarves. They mentioned holy water.
Holy water?
Yeah, apparently that's something that's pretty good against what we're fighting.
Well, that sounds like you and Salasha's department, Navali.
Unfortunately, I don't know if I have the capability of making holy water.
You do.
I do?
Um,
Is that a spell?
It is a spell. It is the exact spell is one of your level 1 spells. The one that can marry people can also make holy water.
Oh, ceremony.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't certain.
I would also point out that Navali has a church.
Navali
She
does
goes to.
also have a church, yes.
It's true. A church that I do frequent. I could go speak with the priestess at Helm's church to see if perhaps maybe they could assist us as well. Unless Solastra, I'm not certain if you might also have a way that might help us too.
Out of character, do I? I don't know.
You also have access to ceremony?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, actually. I believe the thing that Navali is good at is just being there and being Navali. I'm sorry, not Navali, Solastra.
I'm
Nope,
trying to look.
I'm confirming ceremony is cleric and paladin.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
It does cost 25 gold to
Correct.
make, just so you know.
Oh, gotcha.
It's
Does
not free, to be clear.
does the holy water in particular have some sort of like expiration date? Because I'm looking and it doesn't look like it says anything. It just says you touch one vial of water and it becomes holy.
I'm going to show you what holy water does. I'm just going to DM you what holy water is.
Gotcha.
Fun fact, in real life, there are actually rules for creating holy water from various different churches, including the fact that if you have a thing of holy water and it's low on water, you can top it up with regular water and that water becomes holy.
I know that.
Sounds like Divinity 2 fire.
Yeah.
But to extremely quickly summarize, it's essentially you have a improvised ranged weapon that does 2d6 radiant damage to undead.
Did I miss something in regards to like holy? If they take radiant damage, they will not heal that round.
Correct.
So they could still return to their haven.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just saying this out loud, but like 2d6 even
It's a very
doubled
expensive thing to do, yes.
Yeah. It's a very expensive thing to do, and it's not a tremendous amount of damage. It is a decent amount. Could definitely be worth having for those who don't have radiant damage in their pocket, but
Out of character, if I was to suggest it at all, it would be a panic button.
yeah. In the same way that maybe a couple of us should get healing potions, though. Like
At some point, yes.
yeah. Which we can add to the shopping list, I suppose. So we have like at least one piece of chalk, some amount of reagents to make holy water, some amount of healing potions, maybe.
Well, while you make the shopping list, I will ask, do you all go as a group to do this stuff? Or it sounded kind of like Navala was going to go off on her own. Does anyone go with her? You split into groups?
Kaito was going to split off and inform Tushiki of things.
Completely makes sense.
I would like to ask Celastra if she's comfortable sending to Willow, as I want to meet up with him and explain the situation.
Definitely.
All right, Celostra's being used as a phone again. Completely makes sense.
Big phone!
Yay.
So it does sound like the party actually is planning to split up and all individually buy stuff.
Well, I think we're going in twos at least, which is the unspoken rule we've had for a while now.
Then I will ask, what are the groups?
Leo's probably on team shopping.
I think a good question to ask here would be, Six intends to meet up with Willow. So Six is grabbing Willow for the not Willow, Celostra for this. That's a group pretty much guaranteed.
Mhm.
Rev, do you go with Navali as she goes off, probably to go speak to her temple and check the orphanage and such?
If she's okay with that,
Yeah?
sure, I will tag along.
That means Leo and Karuto, Leo follows you around to do the Tushiyuki stuff.
You can do shopping afterwards.
Yeah, which kind of makes sense. I'm going to assume that Rev is willing to basically give Leo enough money for the list, unless I'm corrected.
Yes.
Okay.
And Leo will also, during this time, go turn in the rebate for the beach party.
Get that 100 gold.
Rev will actually request that 100 gold.
Okay, well, I turn it in, but you can put it in your inventory.
To begin with, let's start with Navali. What exactly are you planning to do?
So I was thinking of, well, I would also maybe ask Rev about if we should warn the orphanage about what's happening. And Navali would like to go to see the priestess as well.
Sure. In regards to, I guess, warning the orphanage, I don't think it would do much good to warn them, against this. I think we're the thing that would be protecting them.
Yes, I guess you're right. I'm just. Well, I'm hoping we can take care of this fast enough so that they don't have to worry.
We will.
Other than that, I just wanted to go see the priestess.
Of course. Do you want me to wait outside?
You don't have to, Rev. It's all right. I am going to go tell Perm what we're going to do, though.
Of course.
And Navali goes to do that.
As you go to tell Pamelia, she is talking with her sister. Apparently, her sister is asking Pamelia, "Where are the best tailors? I need to fix all of my dresses. The terrible cat ruined mine." But she kind of nods. Do you want me to meet back at the normal inn?
Sure. That sounds good. And Rose, if you're looking for something, I did get a dress done one time at I don't remember the name Skern, but Navali's gonna name the place for her.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much. I will have to remember your name. Navarus?
Navali. But that was close enough. Anyway, I will see you later. And she kind of gives a nod to the two of them and goes back to meet with Rev. Rev, are you okay if Mira comes with us?
Of course.
I wanted to get her a nice treat for how well she did yesterday.
As you travel towards the temple, I need both of you to roll me perception. This is not hearing. just to
Yeah, I
be fair.
figured.
As you're heading there, I'm going to assume you're both semi-alert still, because you might feel still threatened in some way or form. There is a woman who is wearing, Navali, you recognize, one of those outfits that Pamelia brought back. And you notice the bunny ears too, and she immediately seems to be coming towards you as if trying to get your attention.
If Rev does not notice it, Navali will stop and turn to look at the woman.
Thank you so much. Please, this might sound strange, but I've heard rumors and you look like it might be possible. Are you Navali Faith?
Navali's eyes briefly go wide for a moment, and just like offhand, I'm gonna divine sense.
You may. She
I
is
do.
not a celestial, fiend, or undead.
Navali gives Rev a look, and
Though I will mention, Rev still gives off the stench of undead as if it's touched him, but he's not undead.
I feel like Navali knows that though.
Yes, but always have to confirm that's still true.
Yeah. Navali gives Rev a look of I checked her, and then looks back to the woman. I am. How do you know my name?
Just, I need to keep asking questions. I need to know for certain. Daughter of Mira Faith, old protector of the forest.
Yes, that was my mother.
Oh, thank the gods, thank Helm himself. Doesn't matter. Please, can I speak with you?
Navali looks at Rev. Are you okay if we take a detour?
Of course.
Come. Do you want to speak privately, or I know a place that I think we can talk.
Yes, anywhere's fine. Just have much to request of you.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take her to Bunnery.
I assumed.
Oh yeah, buttery.
Do you feed her?
Yes.
Please mark a silver off.
Yep.
So they seem very excited to have 2 bunnies here now.
2 buddies, double bun.
But as vegetable pastries are being brought to you, she kind of looks at it and looks towards you. I wasn't sure if the rumors are true, but you do sort of look like your mother. She's looking towards Rev. Is he a companion?
Yes, he is my guild leader.
Guild leader?
I am with the group and he is the leader.
Then perhaps I should be asking you, sir. I didn't know who else to ask. Do you know what is happening in your land currently?
Regretfully, I am not very up to date on what's happening.
Well, it's a lot, but most recently they have rounded up a variety of. They believe many of our kind have been constantly committing acts of treason to Iridia, constantly rebelling because sometimes they refuse to wear the outfits, sometimes they simply get angry or make mistakes, and all this is considered treason to them. They've rounded up 10 men. You understand how rare they are.
Yes.
They intend to execute them, and when they saw how she seems to lose her words for a moment. When they saw our reactions, they decided, no, we'll move them elsewhere. I found out they still intend to execute them just in the border. I've been looking for anyone who's willing to help, but no one understands. And then I heard rumors that the daughter of Mir had returned, and I came here as quickly as I could.
Navali has a... It's a look of she's not sure what to think about that. And you're certain they're still going to execute them?
Quite certain. Everything they are bringing executioners. They brought dozens of armed men to make sure they're secured. There's no other thing they could be doing.
And this woman looks like she's panicking, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
No
insight required.
Yeah, Navali is gonna put a hand on her arm and like look into her eyes and be like, "It's okay. Take a deep breath.
I didn't know what else I could do.
I understand. This is a lot, and I'm sorry you have to. I'm sorry you have to deliver such news. You said they're being taken to the border. Do you know exactly where?
Yes, the northern west border. It's about 3 weeks' journey from here, and if you're traveling in a large group, the merchants take that long, but a single marriage could likely get there in 9-10 days.
And how many men do you know that are... how many guards are watching them?
I don't know. There was dozens, at least.
I'm sorry. Can I get your name?
It's Trin, yeah.
Rin. Would you mind if I go speak with my guild leader for a moment?
Of course.
Rev?
Yes.
And can I speak to you for a sec?
Of course.
Navali will walk outside. I'm
I will
guessing
follow.
Mira is probably outside hanging out.
Yep. Like, do not let an elk into the buffet.
Darn.
Wow, rude.
Navali instinctively will walk over to Mira and just kind of like put a hand on her, and it's like for Navali to get some comfort, because she looks admittedly unsure. Rev, I know it must sound odd to be so worried about a group of people, and I don't know how much you know about my people, Rev, but if you knew, you would understand why she is panicking.
I'm afraid I don't know much beyond. Well, not much.
My people have. Well, the best way I can explain it is we are primarily more women than men, and in fact, men are very rare within my community. It's so rare, in fact, that it sometimes has caused some population crisis. What I mean to say is, even having 10 executed could do a lot of damage to my people. The fact that it was enough of an outrage for the Iridians to not just outright execute them in front of everybody should tell you that it means a lot to my people.
I see.
And Navali kind of has another like concerned look, and she looks up to Mira and she's like petting Mira a little. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I should do. And I know we have those vampires to deal with, Rev, but I need to go. I need to do something about that.
Rev is quiet for a moment. Tell me what you need.
She said a single mount can get there in 10 days. I will go on my own, and you all will be here to deal with what's happening here. I will try to be as quick as I can, but I need to do this, Rev.
You want to go on your own.
Yes.
They are executing 10 people, yes? I assume they're going to at least be that armed.
Yes.
You can't go alone.
Can you
It's-
roll insight on Navali? Navali looks very conflicted by that. She looks like she wants to say something to that, but she doesn't.
I understand that this means a great deal to you. I would ask that you don't. That we prepare so that in such a way as I don't want you to run in headlong and throw your life away if it comes to that. I'm not saying it's going to come to that, but
It's more important that all of you are here. I understand what you're trying to say, Rev, and I know that going in on my own is not a good idea, but with what we have here, so many people that we need to help here in Dover, and we can't risk losing too many of us.
what's important is not that we're all here, but that we are all taken care of. Who are we?
Shield of the Outcast.
We protect one another.
Navali has her look has gone from conflicted to there's like a hint of like understanding, but it's like there's like a sadness to it. I know. That's what we do. I'm sorry, I have to ask this.
Don't be. This is important. In fact, I should be apologizing to you that I must remain here.
No, I was going to firmly agree that you need to be here.
I would aid you if I could.
I know. Things just got a lot more complicated.
Let's bring this to the group's attention, and we'll go from there.
All right. Let me go speak with her. Again. I will try to get some more information out of her and see if anything else can be helpful. I would also wish to tell her about the temple here. They might be able to give her some help.
Of course, would you like me to remain outside? Would you like privacy?
Yes. Could you just keep Mira company?
Of course. I'm here if you need me.
Navali nods and she goes back inside. And she'll sit down. All right.
You sit down, Trin kind of looks at you. She's still clearly nervous, but you notice that she has devoured what was put in front of her. You get the feeling she probably didn't have much money, and you basically just bought her food when she hasn't eaten for several days.
Is there anything else I can get you?
No. Thank you, Protector.
Navali kind of looks a little embarrassed at that. I do wish to help. If there's anything else you can tell me, I would greatly appreciate it.
Do you have a map? I can draw where I believe the border town is.
I don't think out of character Navali has a map on her. So if there is like a napkin nearby.
Sure.
Okay. Navali will grab out a napkin and just like place it down. If you could just write it on here, I can see about maybe
Yeah, no, of course.
using that.
She basically scratches it into the napkin because pens don't exist. Have ink wells in the bunnery. But it's legible enough that with an actual map you can figure it out.
And do you mind me asking, but you you came here. It looks like you came in such a hurry. Are you here with anyone specifically, or is it just you?
I ran here as quickly as I could, as I didn't know. I knew no one in our own forest could possibly muster the strength to do so, but I've been hearing rumors, and I thought you might be our only hope.
I'm surprised my name has gone back to the homeland.
We thought you were gone for a very long time. It's only in the past month. There's rumors that you might be coming back, and that's started people. Well, it started the Iridians getting nervous around us.
It's so strange to think that they would be worried about me. I guess it might be more about. Well, it seems like you knew of my mother at least. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I find it kind of funny that they're just worried about me of all things.
She kind of looks at you up and down. Why wouldn't they be worried? You're the protector of the forest. You're the one who's gonna protect the forest if they abuse it anymore.
Ooh. Navali doesn't really know how to respond to that. She just kind of looks down at the table. There is there's a temple here for Helm. High Priestess Neen is watching over it. I would suggest you go there, and I think she might be able to help you.
Thank you.
If it is all right, well, if I have any more questions for you, could I meet you again?
Do you wish for me to just see if they have a place for me in the temple? I can just wait there.
If that is all right with you.
That I think it would be nice to have a warm bed.
Yes, I understand. Right. I can actually take you to the temple if you would like.
Yes, that would be lovely. Thank you so much.
Mm. And before we go, Navali is going to get a little bit of extra food. I know she said that she was all right, but Navali is going to get a little bit of extra for her. And
Mark another silver.
And just like have it be like an extra piece of food for her.
She eats it immediately.
And when she comes outside, Rev, I'm going to take her to the temple, if that's all right.
Of course. Do you want me to accompany you, or do you want to come to the Tandem Imperium after?
Would you accompany me? I think it would still be best if we stayed in, twos.
Absolutely, yes.
And Navali takes her to the temple.
As you head to the temple, we'll shift to a different group of two. Hey, Six. It's Lostra. Willow gets back to you almost immediately. Oh, something important? Yeah, okay. I think I have ideas of where I might be. Where do you want to meet? I'm going to assume possibly you actually sent a location, and in which case, I'll meet you there.
Sure. Do we know a good, neutral location in the area that isn't the Tandem Imperium?
There are a couple of inns that were nicer to you. None of them were great to you, but nicer. There's a couple of places that are clearly willing to serve you, like the Bunnery, as Navali is aware. That is a nice neutral place.
Heck yeah, Celestra, do you want to go to the Bunnery?
Let's go.
Let's go!
Okay, for the sake of hilarity timing, this happened after you guys already left.
Perfect.
2 ships passing in the night.
They're less excited to serve cats when you're cats and snake when the bunnies are gone. To be clear,
I purchased 2 portions of food.
please mark off a silver.
Are they less grumpy now?
They're not ungrumpy, but they're not mad at you. It's just the bunnies make people come here. As you get seats and are served vegetable as you are served buns with steamed vegetables inside that taste fairly good. Willow sits down and just kind of looks over to the two of you, seeing that both of you probably have more serious looks on your face. Something happen?
She nods. Six gets a little nervous.
Do you want me to start? Because there is something weird going on.
Sure.
Have either of you tried to go to the petition office to get a new job?
No?
Apparently, there was a notice that certain guilds are barred temporarily for investigation, and we're one of them.
Oh boy.
Celastra looks over with a concerned look.
And the Tandem Imperium?
Yeah.
Six leans in. Do you know what a vampire is?
No?
Monsters. Undead monsters. They charm you. They spy on you. There's trouble. They want to hurt us.
So did these undead monsters decide to start ruining your income? That's what Dad would do.
Yes, that's my assumption. Rose is one of them. She's been spying on you. She's still with us. She was forced.
Wait, hold on. Back up. She's been spying on me, and she's still with us.
It's complicated. I don't think she's a threat. I believe her when she says that she's working with us and not against us. But she was made to spy on you. Yes, she knows everything about you.
She pauses and thinks for a moment. Huh. Okay. Question.
She nods.
What do vampires do when they're bored?
I don't know, drink blood?
Weird. I was just asking, but she was in your basement a lot.
Why?
I don't know. I never asked. I thought it didn't matter, but now apparently it might.
I wonder if that's where she set up her... Never mind. What I'm saying is, there might be trouble, and it might be better to stick somewhere safe for the immediate future. I'm sorry that you're wrapped up in this. I feel responsible.
Oh no, the horrors. Something wants to kill me. Which would be better? Me being stuck in a bunch of flowers or something wanting to kill me? Oh, is it really that bad?
No, it's... Well, when you put it that way... I am concerned for you. I don't want you to get hurt.
Okay. I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to hide out. Do you have safe places for me to be?
We usually meet at the Tandem Imperium.
That's the brothel, right?
She nods.
Okay.
Let me put it this way. I don't want you to have to fight if you don't want to. That's why I'm apologizing. Yeah, I know this is less dangerous than Dad looming over you or being in the field of flowers. But I still don't feel good about it, okay?
He's going to reach over, and his hand slowly tries to pinch one of your cheeks.
She stares.
Oh, so you really are real. Okay. You've changed.
Yeah. I've been around some good influences. She sort of nudges at Celastra.
Celestra smiles.
Well, keep good influencing my sister. She was a real brat before. Well, I think also she's starting to realize selfish ain't evil.
We're working on it.
I appreciate the protection. I might ask for a weapon just in case. I agree, I don't really want to fight, but if I have to, I'd rather not do it with these. Kind of gestures with his claws.
I have Mom's old rapier.
I'll take it.
I don't know if she has it on her. If she does, she'll hand it over.
I don't see why you wouldn't have it on you.
With sort of a grin, she's like, I expect that back when you're done with it.
Well, if it gets used, I will apologize to your mother myself.
I have her with me.
That what?
Did we not tell you about the Eidolon?
You know what? I don't care.
She's right here.
She's not my mom. It's fine.
We were discussing strategy for what to do next. So if you come to the Tandem Imperium, maybe you can hear about what's going on and decide where you want to be and what you want to do. Fair?
Or I hide there.
Or you hide there.
Sounds good. Meet you there.
She nods. Thanks, Celastra. I feel more courageous when you're around.
I'm glad to hear it. I think we're a good team.
I think so too. I know if something bad happens, you have my back. Also, you can summon holy fire from the ground, and that's pretty cool.
That's always a plus.
And spirit snakes?
You know, I have only walked away for 1 minute and I'm hearing more crazy shit. He keeps walking instead of trying to figure that out. And finally, Karuto. Leo.
Hello.
It's not hard to find Toshiyuki. He basically gave you a map of which inns he stays at, but he does keep rotating as you and he were taught. You know,
Yeah.
make yourself hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
But not too
Uh,
hard.
Yeah. Character doesn't mind giving a briefing in front of Leorn, so he doesn't sort of like stop him from following or anything. He gives him a very sort of dry tactical overview of the entire situation.
Just to kind of summarize, undead, likely constantly going to be trying to attack us, hard to kill, going to destroy their stuff.
Effectively, yeah.
Fascinating. I'm going to assume you would rather I keep the bottle for some time.
He nods. And for safety, you may wish to visit the Tandem Imperium for some time too. They are close allies.
It is quite strange that the whorehouse has become your stronghold, but not too strange. They're oftentimes great areas of subterfuge. May I ask, I have not used the question for this morning. Do you think it might be beneficial to your undead hunt?
Ah, that is... Yes, if you would not mind attending the Imperium later, perhaps we can come up with a question by all of us.
If you are gathering your forces, I shall meet you there. I'll bring the bottle.
He nods. Then we will talk more later.
Of course. And he also gives a respectful bow to Leo as he heads off.
Leo nods, and at some point, quickly after Tuchuki leaves, he says, I suppose I'm not caught up on what this bottle does, but I'm interested.
Oh, of course. And he starts walking so they can start doing shopping. It is a relic that is what was stolen from the temple, the reason I was sent in the first place. It allows the user to ask a single question and see a limited vision of the future, a possible future.
And I recall hearing a little bit about this when we were approaching a willow, but I'm putting it together now.
You know, you can see why it may have been guarded as valuable.
Of course,
It is
yes.
also part of the reason why Tushuki is now an ally rather than an enemy.
Is it, well, of course, we kind of need any help we can get, but is it, hopefully it's not sacrilegious to use it for our purposes in this way?
The philosophy of my order is fairly loose on such things. As long as it furthers the ends of the veil, then it is acceptable.
Selfishly, I feel like I could have a few questions for the bottle of my own, but perhaps another time.
He nods. It is restricted to once a day. Such power, of course, is... 1 second, my cat is being annoying. Yes, such power is, of course, difficult to come by. But perhaps when we are in less of a emergency state, it would be perfectly allowable. You would not be the first to ask such questions either.
Karuto says as a small cat walks by and he bends down to pet it.
Leo nods as if satisfied and grateful. And we go shopping.
You go shopping. Do you want to give me a list off session?
Yeah, probably better.
Yeah. Yeah, and just I'll sort of just type it up and see if everybody agrees.
I think that's perfectly fine. We assume that you succeed in your shopping, and we'll figure out exactly what you buy a little bit later.
Yeah. And whatever's bought goes to whoever's in town.
Makes sense. You regroup in the Tandem Imperium to discuss plans, and you should probably go do that. You meet up without any issues. Though I should state, before that, let's actually take a step back. Navali, you went to the temple. Did you want to have a scene there?
No, it's okay. Navala, I think probably after that doesn't want to talk to the at the temple.
I wanted to make sure I wasn't skipping over something that you might have wanted to do.
Mhm.
In that case, yes, the party successfully regroups with a fuckload of cohorts.
Party size or party name automatically renames to the Army of Outcasts.
Army of Outcast. That sounds like a cool song.
As you enter,
It sounds like a lot of profits. Sorry.
It's all good. As you enter and start seating, you notice there's a lot of people there. Crow has a very frustrated look of, what the fuck? As people just keep coming in, but she does not comment and she recognizes most of them at least.
Guys, Willow says that we've been blacklisted from accepting more jobs?
Oh, you too?
She nods.
We're also not allowed to open.
What?
It has been decreed that the guilds that have had direct contact with the High Lord's daughter are to be investigated and unable to act until the investigation has been ended. For it is assumed that there is a possibility she has been involved in murder of multiple nobles, and therefore she, until this is proven true or false, any of her connections are not allowed to act upon the city.
Oh, fuck.
Aita looks a little terse at this. Well, I guess there will be a lot more unexplained murders soon.
If you find the princess, I'd love to question her, by the way.
Something tells me that she had no choice in this.
Something tells me this is highly political. And he says the word as if it's dirty.
Well, with such a large group, you probably have very important things to discuss. Would you like to do so now, or wait until next session?
Ooh,
I think
15
there's
minutes.
some we should talk about now.
Yeah.
I'm good for now.
Now,
Then, talk.
So there's been a development. They'll kind of gesture to Navali.
Rev and I were on our way to the temple, and we were stopped by a woman, a Viaran woman specifically. She was in a panic state, and I took her to the bunnery. We talked with her, and well, and Navali has like a look of unsureness on her face as she continues. She told us that there have been some trouble in my homeland, and that trouble has caused 10 Viaran men to be taken, and they were going to be executed. And my people did not like that. And so the Iridians then decided that they weren't going to execute them, but then they decided to just take them outside and are planning to execute them on the border. Now, I know that might not seem like much, but it would be very bad for my people if those 10 men were killed. And well, they don't have a lot of time, and I guess what I'm trying to say is I need to go stop it.
With the full support of the Shield of the Outcast.
It's a 3-week journey, but they said on one mount it could take 10 days. I assume if we all had mounts, it might take less. But
Navali,
yes.
I'm going to assume you kind of showcase the napkin as well.
Yes.
Leo, could you roll me just a quick intelligence check?
It's already occurring to Leo if this is near his teleportation circle.
Yes, it's considerably closer.
Do you still want me to roll, or?
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay.
because I can give you exact time. With a 17, you make some connections in your head. Azel's teleportation circle is 2 weeks off. If you use it, you could get to this area in about a week.
He was keeping that to himself just very temporarily. He's trying to get a read on Rev and the vampire situation.
these are your orders, Rev.
Yes.
She nods.
I don't want Navale to go alone, but we also need to take care of this. We're going to find a way to do both.
She nods, satisfied.
It's not going to be easy. Ideally, I would like to get those men out and safe. But I'm certain there will be a fight. I would like to try to avoid it, but it's very possible that it will happen.
I just want to make sure I understand when you say she's not going alone. Do you mean one would go with her, or you wish for us all to go?
We have quite a number of us assembled here. I'm fairly certain we can find a way to divide ourselves if need be.
I can cut her journey in half with whoever's leaving. I can cut it in half, and if there's a small amount of people, I could cut it down even more. I could make Mira, for example, move considerably faster. Teleport there with a very small, and I'm just floating this. Teleport there with a small team, make Mira fast. Be back in 7 days. I don't know. I'd have to do the math, but I couldn't do that for everybody. Well, I could bring us all there, but I couldn't make us. I could only make Mira fast.
It's if we can cut the journey in half, then it could mean that we might be able to return sooner. Though I don't think we'll be back in time to deal with the bulk of the vampire problem, which I know is a concern.
Only if you care about your friends.
If we made a favor with Azel, she could pick us up and bring us straight back to Dolberon from the manor.
We're going to be busy, unfortunately. I don't know if... Okay. How many of you know our secret? Crow actively waits for a raise of hands.
How many people raise their hands?
Well, the entire PCs do. Rose also does because she figured it out, but that's about it.
Oh,
I mean, Leo pauses and he doesn't want them to have to overshare, but he just says, I mean, if she's not available, that's...
The only reason I'm mentioning is our more core group of people who I cannot discuss further are going to be busy on a project for the next few weeks. If you require my aid or the aid of Varia or Stray, we will be available. But beyond that, we cannot offer more services.
This is Crow saying this?
Yes.
Am I correct to assume that neither you nor Stray have the teleportation capabilities?
Correct.
Well, I could still... If I go with you, Navali, we go to the manor. Mira goes fast. Teleport back to the manor. Bring Mira back here, and I can contact... I have the abilities to contact Rev and getting an idea of where the party is, I could try to locate him as well. To rendezvous. I have a lot up my sleeve. I'm not saying I'm the best option, but I feel like it would cut down the time significantly.
If we can use that portal, then yes, it would be very useful. I admit I don't know exactly how much time we have to stop what's happening. All I know is they said that the journey was going to be about 3 weeks, but the faster we get there, the better.
And depending on what it takes to get them out, being able to teleport them might be important as well.
Mm-hmm. Which, I guess that would also bring up the question. I already agreed with Rev that Rev needs to stay here. And if you want another opinion of mine, I think Celestra should stay here as well. Celestra has magic to be able to help against the, at the very least, you might have a better chance at fighting them with at least one of us here. Is that all right with you, Celestra?
I suppose it makes sense.
I'm coming
As
with you,
for-
Navali.
Navali looks at Six. 6, are you sure?
The battle plan for Reverence is already made. You're going to need my skills if we're going to extract those people.
Yeah.
I'm only saying this because I don't know the answer, but can Mira carry 3 of us?
I don't think if I'm on her that she can carry me included.
Because it might be that only 2 people can go without extending the timetable considerably.
Can I ask what spells you're thinking makes Mira go zoom?
Casting haste every hour
Would not work that way because of the stun fact that it's not something that will increase travel time. Sorry, I've had to explain this to a few people because it only lasts a minute.
Oh, it's only a minute. For some reason, I thought it was an hour.
Sorry, I want to
God.
correct this if you're making this misconception, because
okay.
that
Yes.
would not work.
Yes, totally.
We could perhaps take some of the other mounts, though.
Expeditious retreat. I can't use dash, like my dash on Mira, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Then forgive everything I said. That was a player mistake.
All good. But we could perhaps take the 2 foxes with us, and that might be able to help quicken our pace. I know-
That's a slight detour as well, just to pick them up. But it is an option.
I guess that's a good point. I guess I would also want to offer... Well, I think it would be a good idea to have as many people on hand here to fight the vampires. I guess I'm curious on who else would want to join.
VD immediately raises her hand.
You are welcome to come, VD.
Yes!
It is going to be dangerous, just so you know.
Way better than fight undead.
I guess that's fair. All right. Then I guess I did have one request if we were going to try to get in and get out of here. And she looks to Shiuki. Would you be willing to come with us?
He looks over towards Karuto. Might I ask what you believe I'd be useful for?
You're very good at finding things out and being able to be seen unseen, if that makes sense.
Ah, you need an expert in infiltration.
Yes.
I would
If
like your word that you will make sure that I am kept safe. But if you believe that you can keep me safe, I believe that my ability to see far and wide and hear is quite, well, not as skilled as the other. Gestures towards Karuta. Comparable. We were trained in the same place.
yes, you have my word, I will keep you safe.
He looks towards Karuto to see if her word means anything.
Karuta gives a small nod.
Very well. And he bows to you.
Navali nods back. I know this is a lot to talk about right now, and of course we can talk about it more, but these are just what I was thinking, and Navali looks to Rev. If there's any suggestions or better planning you think.
I'm not sure. No, I think this seems right to me.
1 second. She looks at Six, and then she looks over to Willow.
Six nods. The Tandem Imperium is going to be busy.
Willow, would you be interested at all?
Hey, what do you... I'm not sure where my skills would be useful here. He's looking over to Six, like, wondering why.
You wanted to hide at the Tandem Imperium. The Tandem Imperium will be busy.
Oh! Oh, he's connecting dots in his head. Can I have a day to at least get properly armed? I don't just want to use my sister's sword.
Of course.
Out of character, can I sort of recap where we're at with the going away party right now?
Navali, Six, Lirin, Tushiyuki, VD, and Willow.
Is that 6? Is that like 6
That is
people?
Six.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
No, 6 is with the other.
No, Six is with this party.
And then as Navali's talking about this, can I get a general insight read on, or can I roll insight for Perm?
Sure. She was not hurt until she noticed you calling out people and asking them to come with, and she was not one of them.
Navali takes note of that, and she wants to give Perm a look of like, I want to talk to you later.
She's going to remain silent. She knows better than to try and start an argument in the middle of a huge crowd.
I'm sure there's other things we need to talk about, but I think for now, that at least is out of the way.
Can I float one terrible idea that is occurring to me? That
Sure.
might help. Rose, your divination abilities, are you able to show other people, for example, the inside of a building?
Sure. I'm not going.
No, I know. Kind of looks towards Rev. I could cut our return trip back significantly, but it would mean pissing the blue cloaks off. if Rose were to find a way to scry into their teleportation circle and show it to me, I could
You
get us
hear
back to
Crow
Delverond.
from behind. We've attempted that before. Clairvoyance is blocked in their area. They have a forbiddance around their entire encampment.
Ah. You don't happen to know any other circles, do you?
I do not. I'm sorry.
In Leo's mind, is like, we could piss them off even further and just dimension door in and out. But
It worked for Rev.
I don't think he thinks that might be a suicide attempt, so he doesn't voice that.
I don't think I've missed anything on my end. If there's something else we needed to talk about.
Well, with the fact that there's going to be a lot of strategizing for some time, and the idea that the party is definitely going to split, put into the ether, let's stop here so we can discuss this further later, and assume that we're going to pick up directly afterwards with the party starting to split up next week. I assume next week's good for everyone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. So let us end here for now.
Goodbye, stream. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.